downpours from Warsing up to Kingston and down to Poughkeepsie. It is a rough ride on the thruway to the north. Notice, like east of the Hudson, it's fairly quiet right now, but now we have some rough weather over the Mario Cuomo Bridge. Unfortunately, some more rain headed into Connecticut, not as heavy as earlier. Bergen County just getting slammed right now with heavy rainfall and some rotation storms. And that's headed into Rockland County. And again, you can see the new tornado warnings. The first one in about a minute and a half is going to expire. That's just because that storm is moving out of that area, but still a tornado-warned storm until 3:15 over parts of Morris County. Also quarter-size hail, a possibility with the storm as well, and torrential downpours. In terms of the trajectory when it comes to the city, we've got some downpours that are moving over New York Harbor into lower Manhattan. But I'm not seeing that these storms would be tracking toward New York City. But, Jeff, if you look here, I mean, just look at the shape of this new supercell just to the south of there.
Oh, sure.
Through
yeah,
Mendham.
Moving into northwestern, Somerset, northern Hunterdon there. Yeah.
So into Bernardsville as well.
Oh, sure.
So that's storm lifting to the north. But really, it's been interesting so far this afternoon that, most of the action has really been, the city's been on the southeastern fringe, and all of the terrible weather has been off to the north and west. And I think what'll happen is as we go through our shows this afternoon and evening, I'm just going to take a little different radar, so you can see a wider view. You can see all the action. Still plenty off to the west. There are tornado warnings that are happening across eastern Ohio. So we still have to go through all of this as we go through the evening hours. So we got these scattered discrete cells for the next couple of hours, maybe next few hours, and then it looks like some more widespread heavy thunderstorms will come through during the evening hours and still impact us. So we have a long way to go.
And a big concern is Somerville up to 84 degrees, Toms River up to 87. So the atmosphere over central and southern New Jersey becoming super unstable. I mean, it's downright hot and muggy, and that's just going to be fuel for the fire for these storms. So arguably, I mean, you could even get more severe storms than what we're experiencing right now over central and southern New Jersey when that stuff from Pennsylvania approaches, assuming the atmosphere remains that juicy.
Yeah, you can see the brighter skies on the horizon there. I just want to check some storm reports to see if anything has come out.
Yeah.
Of course, we had all the flash flooding. There were hail reports flooding. That's from earlier in the day over Bergen County. All the flash flooding over Connecticut. Some trees down across northern Westchester and into parts of Rockland County. Nothing in terms of damage reports yet, but I anticipate seeing some as we go through the afternoon hours.
Now, we had a new tornado warning for northern Sullivan Lee until 3:15. So they've basically, it's the same area. They've extended it until 3:15. And I'm wondering if that's because that tornadic cell that was over Wayne County, Pennsylvania, now moving into Sullivan and replacing the old cell that was potentially causing a tornado. So the same areas are going to get hit by another potentially tornadic supercell thunderstorm there.
Yeah, multiple storms capable of producing tornadoes over Sullivan County right now.
So that one is over White Sulphur Springs near Liberty, moving northeast at 25. And then there's another severe thunderstorm to the southwest near Milanville. That's also showing rotation.
Okay.
So we have multiple cells over Sullivan showing rotation. Again, that tornado warning until 3:15.
Okay. And I'm sure many of you have been to concerts at Bethel. I mean, that is not too far from that area right there. Damascus, Narrowburg. Right?
So I'm seeing Liberty, Parksville, and Livingston Manor around 2:35. That's when the most dangerous part of the storm will arrive.
Okay, that's this one. That's the easternmost one that's drifting toward northern Ulster.
Right.
So just north of Neversink there and over to Anderson. So that's until 3:15. So yeah, basically the entire northern part of the county, which again could be extended into parts of northern Ulster County as well. Let's return to northern New Jersey right now, where we continue to see a tornado warning over Morris County until 3:15. And it looks like if you look, Jeff, there's actually these supercells are sort of joining together here across northern New Jersey. So you almost have multiple ones over Morris County, and then we talked about that rotation I just looked at just north of Bedminster. So are we seeing the development of another mesocyclone here over parts of Somerset County here?
I know you always got to be wary of merging cells. I mean, some funny business can happen in the atmosphere when you get that, a lot of rotation. One thing I've noticed, Lee, on our shear at least, it's not quite as intense as it was about 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Moving between right along Route 46 there in parts of Morris County. So it's a little bit of good news. I don't want you to let your guard down. We have a tornado warning until 3:15 east central Morris County, so you got to take shelter.
Okay.
But the shear is not quite as intense as it was you know, we were in the second level of the color table on the shear. Now it's gone down one notch. But.
Okay. On my velocity shear here, just a little different way to look at it. You can see it near Rockaway, New Jersey right here. Still a decent looking couplet on this particular tool. But like you said, maybe a little less definition to it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's a little bit of the storms competing for supremacy there over northern New Jersey.
Very
which
well
cell,
could be.
You know,
right.
which cell is really going to take hold. And by the way, you know, even where we don't have some shear markers and other couplets, remember we told you about some of the rotation that we were seeing, or at least some of the strong winds from Wyckoff over to, let's say, Yonkers and Greenberg. I mean, all of these areas, you've got some twisting and turning through northern Bergen County and into lower Westchester. There it is over parts of Sullivan County. So, I mean, like all across the area, you're seeing this. On there, remember what we talked about. So here's that second cell, you know, Anthony Hoffman's Fairmont. So that's just to the west. Just to the west. So 2 cells there we're looking at, over Hunterdon County and over Morris County right here. Let's go back to the conventional radar that you're more used to outside of those tools.
Again, I appreciate that.
And you can see these tornado warnings. So just to recap. We've got a tornado warning right now over Sullivan County that'll take us until 3:15, and there are multiple cells there. You can see both of them. Let me just go ahead and... So it's this cell right here, and then this cell right here. So multiple supercell thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes over parts of Sullivan County, and then I'll move you to the south, and we've got the tornado warning that's working over Morris County, and that's also till 3:15. Just want to take the watch off so it makes it clear for you. But again, look at all, Jeff, look at all the multiple shear markers working from Passaic County into Bergen County.
That's interesting. Yeah, it'll be very telling if they end up issuing a tornado warning, you know, Bergen or up toward Rockland and Westchester as well. A lot of times, and you've noticed this over the years, I'm sure, these cells will kind of...
That's right now, okay? Boonton by 2:39, Wayne by 2:56. If you're in Wayne, New Jersey, by the top of the hour, this is going to be on top of you. And then Patterson, if it holds together, by 3:09, Passaic by 3:15. So this storm moving to the east, again, towards these more and more populated areas. And hopefully by that point, it starts to fall apart, because at that point, then we're talking about the New York City audience. An audience that is not very familiar with tornadic situations here. So 2:37 on this Tuesday afternoon, and we are tracking, again, these dangerous storms. We had dangerous storms go through Westchester, northeastern Jersey, and into Fairfield earlier this morning. We had wind damage reports through Rockland and Westchester. We had flash flooding reports through New Jersey, through Westchester, and into Fairfield County. And now we're starting to pivot more towards a severe weather risk. You know, we had talked about the potential yesterday for flash flooding. That's still on the table, especially for New York City later this evening. But the damaging wind threat and the tornado threat are elevated for the entire area. And we do have that tornado watch that's in effect for the entire viewing area until 9 o'clock tonight. So again, a tornado watch. This includes the entire Hudson Valley, southwestern Connecticut, Nassau County, 5 boroughs, and the entire state of New Jersey. So what's the difference between what we're on TV for right now, which is the warning, and the tornado watch? Well, a watch just means that the conditions are favorable for this stuff to happen. A warning means that it's happening right now. So a warning, take action. A watch, you just got to be on guard. So we're going to have to be on guard until 9 p.m. today. Okay, so 9 o'clock tonight is when we'll finally start to wind down the severe threat. But until then, unfortunately, it looks like we are just at the beginning here with our severe weather potential. Okay, report from Bethel Woods. Winds picking back up, but you said no rain
available. We are going to get thunderstorms like this occasionally. That's just going to simply overwhelm the system. But I don't know that you could ever completely correct that, but certainly not in a situation like what we have going on for you here today here. Antoine?
Mike, just to explain to everyone, if you would, when you talk about the conditions are ripe for a tornado, would you just break it down to us as if you were like, you know, a classroom of kindergartners? Explain it to us like that, if you would.
Right. Right. So what we have is a typical thunderstorm situations where you have the run-of-the-mill storms in the afternoon where there's just not enough of the ingredients, not enough moisture or rotation within the atmosphere at the different levels of the atmosphere to produce a thunderstorm that would therefore have the potential to produce a tornado. That takes a very strong thunderstorm with lots of moisture, lots of energy within the atmosphere. Rotation at the middle levels of the atmosphere, you'll have winds coming in either from the south and then some perhaps from the southwest to get a little rotation going on in the mid levels of the atmosphere that gets a little spin going. And then when these thunderstorms come over that column of air that's spinning, then sometimes that column of air will rotate down to the ground, connect, and you can get a full-blown tornado, at least a funnel cloud, if not a full-blown tornado with some of these situations. So you need basically all the ingredients to come together to get a situation where you have a tornado outbreak potential that we have for you. Now, as it stands right now, we do get tornado watches, not on a frequent basis, but on an occasional basis. In fact, we had one for New Jersey over the weekend on Saturday. We had no tornadic thunderstorms, so that doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get one, just that the conditions are favorable for tornadoes to develop within these thunderstorms that are here. Now, when you have a tornado warning, that means that either someone has seen a tornado, albeit a funnel cloud, or a tornado on the ground in the area, someone who can report to the officials and make an official report, or there's a radar indicated tornado. That comes from the National Weather Service, and they check out the radar.
Those are, it's not the storm winds anymore. It's the reflectivity, if we can, real fast. So just showing this to you that this is probably, again, wrapped in rain just a little bit. So I'm not noticing, you wouldn't really be able to see this, but again, Montville to Troy Hills to near Rockaway, this is right along 287, 280. That's what we're looking at least for right now with this severe storm that's moving its way on in. I'm going to step back on out for a second because I want to change that banner that's up there at the top just real fast, just to get back to the radar that we're looking at. Let's see if we have any reports coming in real fast, any local storm reports. And this is when we get some reports from the National Weather Service that are coming in. Right now, not seeing any damage reports coming in, at least right now from the areas that we were looking at, also up through parts of Sullivan County. So let me get back right now and show you what's happening for us on the radars. So we're looking at, and I'm going to step back in here for a second, that we're looking at a tornado warning for Sullivan County continuing until 3:15. It's 2:42 in about 5 seconds on our first alert radar. But I'm also now noticing that there's a flash flood warning that's also been issued for the same area. So more on that in a second, but tornado warning again for Sullivan and Wayne County until 3:15. The area of rotation, let's drop that box again if we can, Max. That area of rotation that's closer to Liberty, I'm not as concerned about. Still maybe have a little bit of that rotation that is happening for us as that's moving its way towards the north and east. It's the watch and auto query, the windshield there, Max. The area of rotation that's coming closer towards Damascus that's moving in, that
we can just turn around. There's the flash flood warning now for Sullivan and Wayne counties, including Callicoon, Damascus, and Rockland. This is in effect until 7 o'clock, actually, because there's residual from flooding. The rains come down, the rivers or the streams rise, the roads get flooded, and it might take some time for the water to recede. So that's the issue there. Otherwise, within that is the tornado warning now. Bethel, Liberty, not including Fallsburg, but pretty close to you. Neversink, Liberty, Damascus. These are the areas of concern for the tornado warning. That's in effect until 3:15 with large hail.
Let's see what part of Morris County that is it? And then Kinnelon.
Yeah, right now the worst rotation seems to be just north of Parsippany. I mean, right where 287 and 80 meet up. And two major thoroughfares. There's going to be a lot of cars out there dealing with this. Hopefully a lot of people decide to stay off the road because it's certainly a dangerous situation heading in there, not only because of the flooding, but because of the potential for strong winds and maybe a tornado. Even if there isn't a tornado, there's going to be very strong winds with this, and there's some hail potentially up to quarter size.
Quarry Mountain Lane, Rockaway Valley Road, that's all just north of Montville. And just like Jeff was saying, that sort of intersection of I-287 and I-80 there, which is right here near Parsippany. And you can see the worst of the storm just to the north of Parsippany, getting ready to take a direct hit in Montville and Lake Hiawatha as well. And like you said, look how it's interesting. It's almost like that southwestern storm challenged this initial cell and then said, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm going to still kind of use the atmosphere.
Because this initial one's almost started to pulse up a little bit again.
Yep.
Again, just north of Parsippany and Troy Hills.
So there's that tornado warning again. This still will go for another half hour over parts of Morris County. And if it were to maintain its intensity, we're talking about southeastern Passaic County could be under the gun. And in the track of that storm, Hawthorne, and that's in Passaic, or Oakland, right there. Again, the city, nothing imminent. There are some showers that are riding the west side right now. I just see a live lightning strike. It's actually not far from Yankee Stadium, which, by the way, the game was postponed. And then you can see that heavy cell over northern New Jersey. So we're also watching additional storms that are coming out of eastern Pennsylvania. So we'll see how much of this will rob the atmosphere of some energy, especially north and west. I think we have a rough hour or two north and west, and then we're going to probably end up shifting our focus to what will happen south and east, where we've fueled up the atmosphere with very warm temperatures and some sunny breaks, and it has not been as active during the afternoon hours. Incidentally, right now, and you tell me if you disagree, Jeff, but as I see this cell, I see it more toward Passaic and Bergen County, not directed toward New York City.
Yeah, that one seems to be moving off to the north.
Okay, severe thunderstorm warning. There we go. Let me just...
no warning. Okay.
Yeah, let me just see what that is. Severe thunderstorm warning. Bergen, Essex, Passaic. That'll be until 3:30. So that's the first step in maintaining the alerts on this storm. That'll take us till 3:30 over Bergen County. We'll see whether it's also severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning. Sorry, I interrupted you there, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I just got the text from the National Weather Service for that new severe thunderstorm warning. Watch out Fairfield around 2:50, so northern parts of Essex County. Wayne around 2:55, Patterson around 3, Hawthorne around 3:05, Ridgewood in Bergen County around 3:10, Paramus 3:15, and then Hackensack and Oradell around 3:20. And they are saying, within the text of that warning, they're saying remain alert for a possible tornado, because tornadoes have been potentially developing in these storms as they moved on by. So that is the extension, though, of the tornado warned storm over Morris County.
Correct.
So the National Weather Service in Upton has decided not to extend that tornado warning. The tornado warning in Morris issued by the National Weather Service in Mount Holly.
Okay, so there's just to sort of build on the timing that you just mentioned, as that storm moves eastward into parts of Passaic and Bergen County, it would be Wayne 254, so we're about 8 minutes away from that. 309 in Patterson, Fairlawn 314, 322 in Paramus, and 336 in Closter.
And this is, again, moving into a much more heavily populated area. So I'm not going to be surprised at all, Lee, if we start seeing some storm reports, because even, oh, here we go. We're getting a storm report now. If you want to put me on Max 2 over here. Getting a storm report from north of Mount Olive. Ready for this one? Trained spotter witnessed a tornado touching down at the intersection of Interstate 80 and U.S. Route 206. Trees and debris on the roadway. So, Lee, it looks like this has been confirmed by a trained spotter. That was in Stanhope.
Stanhope,
just north of Mount Olive. That was as of 2:10, so that was, over a half an hour ago. But it seems like a trained spotter actually witnessed that tornado touching down at the intersection of Interstate 80 and U.S. Route 206 with trees and debris on the roadway.
I'm trying to read the name of the roadway there, but it looks like that's not, first of all, it's right along I-80. Right. Second of all, it's right near some type of complex, some type of structures and buildings there, all clustered together. So, in fact, just to the west, it was sort of wide open and fields. And then you see where the actual confirmed tornado was, right there near, unfortunately, not only a highly traveled roadway, but likely a populated area of structures.
And the two words that stuck out to me were trained spotter. I mean, this isn't just anybody. This is someone who is trained by the National Weather Service to spot these types of things.
That's exactly right. Yeah, normally, you certainly hear, oh, I saw a funnel cloud. There must have been a tornado. I heard the sound. But now, yeah, if you have a trained spotter.
And reports of damage, too.
Jeff, would you mind reading that description one more time? I just want to make sure viewers heard that.
Sure. So, again, this is Stanhope, just north of Mount Olive in Morris County, right near I-80. Trained spotter witnessed a tornado touching down at the intersection of Interstate 80 and U.S. Route 206 with trees and debris on the roadway. So that's our latest and most dramatic storm report that we've gotten so far.
Okay. All right, going back and looking at the cell, again, the tornado warning continues for Morris County until 3:15, and then you have that extension of the, oh, no, you know what? They popped a new tornado warning. There it is for Bergen and Passaic County, so they did extend it.
Very populated area.
Yes, so that's headed toward Fair Lawn, Patterson, and Wayne. Very serious situation right now in Bergen and Passaic County. Need you to get to a lowest level of your home or basement, away from windows. This is a storm that now has a history of producing a tornado and can still have tornadic capabilities as it moves into parts of Bergen and Passaic County. That's Fair Lawn, Patterson, Wayne, all in the line of this storm. Hawthorne into Paramus, North Halden, all of these areas looking at this particular cell. Let me just pause it. I'll show you exactly what it is.
Just getting the text now from the National Weather Service. Tornado warning, eastern Passaic and central Bergen County until 3:15. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Boonton or near Caldwell, moving east at about 25 miles per hour. This storm will be near, the most dangerous part of it will be near Wayne at 2:55. So in 5 minutes, it'll be near the Wayne area. It'll be near Patterson, one of the biggest cities in New Jersey, around 3:05 p.m.
So there's Wayne, New Jersey right there. You can see the couplet, what's happening here to the west. Just going to draw that on. So there it is right here. All right, there's the potential rotation. Montville right in the throes of that right now and moving off to the east. Again, it's all been along I-287 and I-80 and moving off to the east, and you see that couplet. When you see these reds and greens, the different colors means going away or going toward the radar, and that's when you see the couplet like this or the colors joined like that and not just sort of right up against each other in a straight line, you know that you're seeing some rotation. So we use this tool, looking at the velocities and the shears and the change in directions of winds to get an idea of where this tornadic activity might be. And the significant shear markers between Troy Hills and Montville, and it's headed right over to Wayne and ultimately toward Patterson, New Jersey. So let me go back to that warning right there. Tornado warning, that's the Sullivan County warning, and that's for another a little less than 25 minutes or so. But let me go to these new warnings, or this new warning. We had the one over Morris County going till 3:15, and then now Bergen and Passaic County till 3:15, affecting areas like Fair Lawn and Patterson over Wayne, New Jersey.
And Lee, I've put on my computer here called the shear track, which is the track of the strongest rotation in the storm during the past hour or so. And you can see that rotation is moving basically just north of due east. So just north of Troy Hills.
Okay.
And if you just kind of point that in that general direction, yes, Patterson, got to watch out. You know, in the Wayne and Patterson in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Take cover immediately in those areas. Go to a basement, go to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building.
And Jeff, also just again a speed on that particular tornadic
25 miles per hour. Okay. Moving east at 25 miles per hour.
Just want to make sure I have this set correctly. I do. Okay. It's here over Wayne. So again, 3:09. We get 15 minutes until we get it into Patterson and Fair Lawn at about 3:12.
There we go. Basically moving into the Wayne area, like right now.
Right.
The worst part of it. And then Patterson, you know, talk about a populated area. I mean, this is one of the most densely populated areas in New Jersey.
I mean, this has been just painting I-80. And the severe thunderstorm warning, of course, extends into Bergen as well. Just to give you an update on the remainder of the area, what's been going on, Fairfield getting a little bit of a breather, but unfortunately, this storm, which is over Morris and going through Passaic and Bergen, is going to knife its way through Westchester and go back into Connecticut as well. So a resurgence of the flash flooding there is a possibility.
Yeah, those areas that had 2 to 5 inches of rain, you know, during the past 6 hours are going to be looking at maybe another inch or two in about an hour's time period. So yeah, more flooding.
The farther north you go, you've got action west of the Hudson and north of I-84 over northern Orange County. You've got a cell that's now moving off to the north very quickly. Bloomingburg getting hit very hard right now. And yet another tornado warning because we've had multiple cells capable of producing tornadoes over northern Sullivan County, along with a flash flood warning there because we've had training storms once again. The thruway from Kingston to Poughkeepsie, just torrential rain and flooding there as well. But once again, I mean, you're only talking about, let's see here. I mean, that tornado warning is only 10 miles north and west of New York City. Now, the cell itself is not tracking toward New York City, but that's not to say that we can't get some damaging winds. We'll have to watch, you know, the southwestern flank of this whole band
Right, and a lot of times
which could
that southwestern flank can sometimes turn into the rotational part of the storm.
Exactly.
So that little cell there just north of I-78 in Hunterdon County, got to keep an eye on that.
By the way, the camera you're looking at there, the George Washington Bridge. So while we're not in the worst part of the storm right there, you see the heavy downpours that are working right here over the Fort Lee side of the GW Bridge, and you go across and you run into very heavy rainfall in Ridgefield Park, and then down toward Undercliff Junction and back to Hasbrook Heights. That's now moving toward Englewood and over into Hackensack, and of course just to the west. I mean, Hackensack's just outside of that tornado warning, but there is the warned cell right here.
Yeah, and just a reminder to viewers, if you're just tuning in, this cell likely produced a tornado. A train spotter witnessed a tornado touching down in Stanhope there in western parts of Morris County, just north of I-80.
Look at the plenty of cloud-to-ground lightning near Montville right now, and some other strikes that are just popping up, excuse me, south of Patterson. Let it take, because that radar can sometimes look a little cluttered when you're just looking at all the, where is the actual rotation with this? Let me go ahead and just take these off so you can see and change the camera location. Okay, so there's the shear marker. It's east of Chester. Let me just make sure I'm in the right place. Yep, okay. And you can see it right toward Morris right now, Detroit Hills, over to Wayne. So there's one area of rotation there and another one near Patterson. It's actually interesting, Jeff. It looks like the structure near Wayne isn't as defined as it was when I looked at it last time.
Yeah, even on my end, the shear markers aren't showing up like they were when they were over Morris County.
Okay, so and listen, these tornadoes, they can lift up, they can come back down, you know, so it's a fluid situation. So, you know, when we talk about this and we say, okay, we see a little bit more definition right now that's headed toward Morris and south of Randolph versus toward Wayne, that doesn't mean that your threat has passed. It just means that, you know, at this very moment, you can see the atmosphere is fluid. Things are changing within it. The tornadic threat, I would say, is anywhere from all the way from Bergen County back into maybe even northern Hunterdon County right now with all the different couplets we're seeing.
And even if they don't drop tornadoes, they're probably causing some wind damage nonetheless.
Absolutely. No, 70, 80 mile an hour winds not out of the question with this. So that's what we're watching over New Jersey. Let me go back to the more classic radar. The yellow you see through the entire area. If you're just tuning in, a tornado watch. It's taking us till 9 o'clock tonight, and we have multiple tornado warnings. We also have a flash flood warning that's still continuing in eastern Fairfield County till 4 o'clock. The tornado warning that's over Sullivan is until 3:15. Let me just load that up.
Yes, that's still in effect till 3:15.
There it is right there. Let me take the watch off so you can see it a little bit better.
And that cell there, it looks like dangerous storm near.
So it looks like it's this cell that right now, the one toward Liberty.
Yes.
Is the stronger one. So it's near Youngsville. That's also, I mean, it's, you know, coupled with that flash flood warning. And that's headed toward Route 17. Other downpours near Mamakating and Craigsmore over to Middletown. And then Rockland, Westchester, very heavy rainfall right now. So whether it's I-287 or 684, the Taconic, the Sprain, all very tough roadways to travel right now with very heavy rainfall. Meanwhile, you have this combination of tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings over northern New Jersey, extending from Morris County into Bergen County.
And a flash flood warning also for Morris County. So to add to the misery, central Morris County until 7 p.m.
All right, if you're in the path of these storms, just a reminder, get to a place of safety. Make sure you are away from windows in your home.
Lee, we got a new one.
Okay.
We got a new tornado warning until 3:45. Southeastern Morris County. This is the southwestern part of that cell that you were talking about earlier.
Okay.
Southeastern Morris County until 3:45, including Morris, Morristown, and Troy Hills. I'm going to get the text on that momentarily.
Okay, so that's the one that was showing a little bit more shear.
Yes.
Near Morris and Somerset. Let me zoom in here.
Oh, here we go. We got a new one here. Tornado warning for northwestern Essex County until 3:30. So that's a new one that was issued.
So Cedar Grove, Fairfield, West Caldwell.
Yes.
So that's what we're saying. See, there are multiple areas of rotation within this line from the lower Hudson Valley into northern New Jersey. And there are multiple supercells capable of producing tornadoes. So you have now an area that is basically north of Bernardsville. You've got about a 35 mile long band capable of producing tornadoes.
And that one for southeastern Morris and central Somerset that was just issued, Lee, until 3:45. Severe storm capable of producing a tornado located over Mendham. We've been mentioning Mendham, or near Morristown, moving east at 25. Same vector as the last storms, moving east at 25 miles per hour. Some of the locations included Morristown, Madison, Florham Park, East Hanover, Chatham, Morris Plains, Mendham, Peapack and Gladstone, Far Hills, Parsippany, Bernardsville, and Hanover townships. Interstate 80 between mile markers 45 and 48, and 287 between mile markers 29 and 41. So take cover in all of those areas.
And it looks like we have flash flood warnings now over parts of Morris County as well.
Yes, until 7 p.m.
Along that line. Okay. Okay. So again, working from north to south here. Let me just take off mile marker. All right, there's your first tornado warning till 3:15. So that's 25 minutes from expiration. That's for Bergen and Passaic, impacting Fair Lawn, Patterson, and Wayne. And the most dangerous part of that storm right now, it does look like it's just east of Wayne, live lightning there in Patterson. The second tornado warning in New Jersey, anyway, is until 3:30. That's Essex County. So that's Cedar Grove, Fairfield, and West Caldwell. If I zoom into that storm right now, Fairfield very close to the worst part of that storm. And then the one that goes until 3:45 is for Morris and Somerset County. Quarter-inch hail possible with this as well. Morristown and Troy Hills right in the line of this storm. If I zoom in, Morris, Florham Park, and this could actually track toward Livingston, New Jersey as well. And you know that only too well.
Yes.
And then we see off to the north, we have a tornado warning that goes until 3:15 for Sullivan County, and this is the cell that is taken over there. And that one is, once again, Liberty's been hit multiple times, and it's headed toward Liberty.
So, Lee, the one over northern parts of Somerset and southeastern Morris, I've been able to change the sensitivity a little bit on our shear markers.
Okay, go ahead.
So you can see a little bit better here. But it's showing, this one near Mendham is showing up really strongly in terms of shear. All of a sudden, just east of Mendham, and again, this is headed over toward Route 202, Route 287, north of Harding, over not too far from the Morristown area as well. Eventually, that tornado warning for portions of southeastern Morris, extreme northern Somerset, until 3:45 p.m. That shear marker is showing up pretty well there.
All right, here's another way to look at it on my system, Jeff. Same idea, building on what you said, and you can see it right there. So west of Parsippany and Madison.
Yeah, watch out, Madison.
Yeah, absolutely. So here it is right here, and you know the rotation would be right in here. And like Jeff said, directly headed toward Madison right now. I'll put this in motion, and let me make it just a slower speed so you can see it move off.
And it looks like, yeah, I was saying 287, specifically between mile markers 29 and 41, if you know that area on Route 287. That's where it's headed toward right now.
All right, this is the last 30 minutes over that area, and you see how that really matured south of Randolph.
Absolutely.
And then moving toward Harding. And you see how that's tracking. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and circle. See, here's the multiple areas that we're looking at. You've got one right here, so that's actually west of Yonkers. Another one northwest of Patterson. Then from Parsippany all the way down here. So again, you got multiple areas of rotation within this line. So multiple supercell thunderstorms.
That is definitely the strongest rotation in our entire viewing area right now, though. That one that just moved out of Mendham. That you have it on right now.
So let's go close right there. So that's moving toward Morris, and it looks like it's tracking toward the east. So Florham Park, Livingston could be in line with that, into the oranges as well. Like you said, just moving into more and more population as it moves off to the east right now.
I'm going to text my wife right now, Lee.
Yeah. Make sure that she's, of course, I'm sure aware, but make sure the family's safe.
Oh, my son will be running to the basement immediately if he hears about this.
And that is the exact right thing to do. I know it can seem extreme when we tell you this information and get to the lowest floor, away from your windows when we get to a basement, but this is that situation right now that you need to take seriously. This is a very dangerous line of storms. There are multiple tornado warnings in effect right now. They stretch all the way from Bergen County into parts of Somerset County. Here are the multiple tornado warnings, one for Bergen and Passaic County till 3:15. We have the one over Essex County till 3:30. And then the one over Morris and Somerset County that'll go until 3:45.
And that one seems to be reigning supreme, Lee, like you were saying earlier, that southwestern flank. If you look on my computer here, watch the northern rotation weaken as it moves over toward Wayne and Patterson, and watch the southern rotation intensify markedly as it heads over southeastern parts of Morris County,
Jeff,
and eventually headed toward Essex County.
And also look at the right-hand side of your screen, just west of the city, you can see the other shear marker, and look how it's actually going in a different direction there. So you've got some of you got the storms literally illustrating all the twisting and turning that's going on across northeast New Jersey.
And then up in Sullivan County, not to be forgotten, we actually have some pretty strong markers showing up there too, northeast of Neversink. And we have that other marker that was moving in toward Liberty, right near Liberty, as a matter of fact. Yep.
Looking at the radar near Morris, New Jersey, you're seeing a hook echo on the south. In fact, multiple hook echoes on the southwestern flank of this supercell. You can see one that's just east of Chester, so headed toward Mendham, and then the other one toward Morris. So it's very possible that the tornado warning could be extended just because of the cell behind us. It's kind of similar to what happened in Sullivan County.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times you'll have, air that's rushing out of these storms can create additional boundaries and fuel more rising air for the next storm to get a hold of. And it looks like these storms are, at the same time they might be fighting with each other, they can lead to new development, which is happening.
We get a new severe thunderstorm warning for western parts of Hunterdon County, New Jersey until 3:45. That cell near Allentown is racing off to the east right now. That could contain 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
There it is right there, Hunterdon County, and some 60-mile-per-hour gusts, as you said. And let's go ahead and just look at some of the areas that could be impacted within the hour near Baptisttown. Then moving closer to Raritan after the 4 o'clock hour. But of most concern right now is this line of tornado-warned storms that stretch from Bergen County to Somerset County right now.
In this strongest area of rotation right now, crossing over Route 202 in Morris County.
Yep. So it looks like if you're in Chatham, this will stay just north of you, but Livingston does seem to be in line for this. Some of the core of very vivid lightning is moving past Randolph right now, and once again moving to where 287 and Route 10 intersect. So Littleton and over to Whippany right now. You can see
watch out. Florham Park is going to be under the gun pretty soon.
Okay.
Too. It's going to cross over 287 and then 124 and then Route 24. Some major roadways in New Jersey. Very highly populated area.
You can see Troy Hills and West Caldwell are in these tornado warnings as well.
Just checking to see if we have any text updates from the Weather Service. Again, tornado warning continues for northwestern Essex until 3:30. We also have that tornado warning continuing for east central Morris County until 3:15.
All right, so the shear marker just pulsed up near Liberty. And in fact, even the storm near Denning got a little better definition in the last couple of frames. So I'm not going to be shocked here if we get a tornado warning over central and northern Ulster County shortly.
Yes, there's a lot of rotation heading in there right now.
So that could very well happen if you're watching in places like Denning, south toward Warsing. Just be ready to that and make sure you're in a place of safety. Meanwhile, you have heavy downpours to the east, too. There's another cell that's actually racing up from the south and west. It's flying up. That probably has some very gusty winds, even if it's not tornadic, working up Route 209. It's just a mess to be traveling across the Catskills and in parts of the lower Hudson Valley right now. But that tornado warning for Sullivan County, or Liberty and Neversink, will go until 3:15. And you can see that shear marker that's now approaching Route 17. And Liberty is about to just go into the worst
Liberty,
of it.
Neversink, Loch Sheldrake around 3:10, so literally in the next 3 minutes, that'll be the most dangerous part of the storm moving through. And then we're talking about Grahamsville around 3:15 when hopefully it expires, but we'll see if it gets extended beyond that time.
Just briefly, heavy downpours over northern Rockland and Westchester, although you're not in those warned storms. And then we have basically a cross-section of tornadic activity, severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings. This is all taking aim at northeast New Jersey right now. We have multiple tornado warnings that are in effect. The tornado warning for Bergen and Passaic is until 3:15. We've got one that's, if let me zoom in here, is over Essex County. That's for Cedar Grove and Fairfield and West Caldwell. That is going until 3:30. And then the one to 3:45, which right now is looking like the main storm on the board, although Sullivan County one's pretty impressive right now. And that's working, as Jeff was saying, flying right over Morris over Route 202 right now. Morris Plains getting very heavy rain and vivid lightning across the area. Jeff, why don't we do a check of some storm reports, see if anything else came in.
Yeah, I was just checking. The latest storm report we have is still that one, which was that very impressive report over western Morris County.
And I'm putting it up on mine now.
That was from the line that we had, from the storms that are moving into parts of Passaic and northern Essex and eventually Bergen County. Trained spotter witnessed a tornado in that area touching down. And for a trained spotter to actually witness a tornado touching down, that's a pretty reliable source right there. That was a person trained probably by the National Weather Service to diagnose these types of things. Trees and debris on the road, so there was confirmed damage in that area as well.
Yeah, and I'm getting messages, well, what size was this tornado? We don't know that until we're able to get some eyes on that damage and get a trained survey.
Exactly.
A person from the National Weather Service to get out there and look. Just remember your tornado safety tips to get to the lowest floor of where you are, an interior hallway or bathroom if you don't have a basement, and just make sure you're staying low and taking cover right now. If you're just joining us this afternoon, almost 3:10 in the afternoon, we are going through a severe weather event which started out with flash flooding over parts of Connecticut and now has evolved into multiple tornado warnings across the area. There's one over Sullivan County. There's multiple tornado warnings over the next hour over northeast New Jersey. We've had a confirmed tornado over parts of Morris County. And you can see this line right now, which if I change the settings on this, I know you see sort of the general radar. But what I want you to look for here is where the red and where the green are couplets, okay? So where those are joined together, that's where we have rotation. And look at the rotation signature, which I have not seen on this computer like this.
That's our automatic signature coming up on radar showing a tornado in that area.
So there it is.
We're just getting the update here from the National Weather Service. That tornado warning remains in effect until 3:45 p.m. for southeastern Morris County. This storm capable of producing a tornado over Morristown, moving east at 25, like all these storms seem to have been moving. Locations impacted include Morristown, Madison, Florham Park, all these places we've been mentioning, East Hanover, Chatham, Morris Plains, and Hanover Township. So we're talking about I-80 between mile markers 45 and 48, 287 between mile markers 31 and 41. Just take cover now. This storm really means business. And this is one of the more convincing signatures, Lee, that I've seen in a long time in our area.
No doubt about it. And again, Livingston still in the track of this, over to Montclair, over to Bloomfield, West Caldwell, Cedar Grove, all in the path of this very dangerous storm, which could very likely have a tornado on the ground here. I haven't had a look. Let me see if I can pull up.
I haven't gotten anything new.
I'm going to pull up the correlation coefficient. I want to see if we can see any debris signatures. I don't know, Jeff. This, you looked between Morris and Troy Hills. Definitely looks like it's a little different than the surrounding coloration.
Yes, it does.
That could very well be a debris signature that's being tossed up by this potential tornado that could be on the ground near Morris.
We've gone up another color table in the shear too, so it's even stronger rotation right now.
Okay, all right. So outside of the getting the trained spotter report at this point, you have almost your, in terms of our computer tools, you have almost the strongest evidence that you could have when we're analyzing this. That could very well be a tornado on the ground here near Morris.
And we'll have to see how the National Weather Service in Upton handles, because they cover Essex County, to see how they handle this cell as it moves off to the east. I would assume they're going to issue a tornado warning soon for parts of Essex County as well.
Okay, just want to throw up the other radar here. Back to the more traditional radar. Turn off the watches. Once again, we have that tornado warning that's still over Sullivan County. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning has been extended a little farther south to include Fallsburg, and waiting to see the sort of next evolution of warnings across parts of Ulster County.
Right. I'm actually kind of surprised something hasn't been already issued for Ulster.
Right. Well, they have their hands full right now. Let's see. Tornado warning over Bergen County till 3:15, so we have another 2 minutes there. So we'll see what happens if everything just sort of consolidates over that main cell that's over Morris County.
The northern rotation definitely seems to have been weakened, which is good news. But there's still a warning in effect officially, so don't take it lightly.
Yeah, you have a northeast movement with this. Their eastern edge is propagating eastward just a little bit, in such that like the city would potentially get into at least some of the rain with this. I don't know if I mean, listen, if that part's headed toward Livingston, it possible that we start to see a portion of this system inch a little closer to New York City.
Yeah, that southern part seems to be maintaining a pretty good eastward component
Right.
versus northward. So yeah, I'm wondering if at least northern parts of the city, northern parts of Manhattan and the Bronx eventually get into this.
You do have I don't know if we talked about this, but this flash flood warning until 6:15. So that looks new to me. That's
Yes,
Bergen.
that's a newly issued flash flood warning.
Okay, so Bergen, Essex, Hudson, and Passaic County, and that will go until 6:15. So you see that includes the oranges as well. So, I mean, even the Weather Service anticipating that at least a part of this band of very heavy rain is going to propagate eastward and could ultimately affect New York City in this. We are about a little less than 30 seconds away of seeing if that tornado warning over Bergen County will expire. But Jeff and I have watched this very dangerous cell, which is working across Morris County and getting closer and closer to Livingston right now with live lightning and tremendous amount of lightning from Morris to Troy Hills here. Very dangerous storm. Working toward the oranges as well. Please take cover and get in a place of safety with the storm. Do not head out into this weather north and west of New York City. We've got everything from heavy downpours to dangerous lightning to tornadic threats. And that threat is from Somerset County all the way to Bergen County right now with those multiple tornado warnings. All right, there's 3:15. All right, so that warning was allowed to expire over Bergen. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning over that area with gusts that can still go to 60, but it looks like right now it's more heavy downpours and gusty winds.
And the rotation just keeps getting stronger looking.
All right, let me go ahead and
over the Morristown.
I'll go back to
situation. Looks like we're getting a new warning in effect here for Essex and portions of Passaic.
A new tornado warning?
A new tornado warning.
Okay.
So I'm going to get the text for this momentarily, Lee. Here we go, brand new tornado warning. Eastern Passaic and central Essex counties.
Got it.
Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. This is radar indicated over Florham Park or near Morristown, probably just east of Morristown at this point, moving east at 25 miles per hour. This dangerous storm will be near Caldwell around 3:25, will be near Orange around 3:35.
All right, Jeff, look at the last couple frames now of that particular cell that was just warned for, okay? And there is definitely more of an east, even a little southeast jog with that particular cell, okay?
Yes.
So if you are watching us now from northeast New Jersey, let me pull that up again, I just lost it. But I think we have to be prepared here in New York City based on the latest movement of that particular cell.
I think we do. Yes, and it's moving into such a highly populated area.
Yeah.
You know, once it gets east of 287, I mean, we're getting into pretty urban areas.
That's
which
right.
could cause a tremendous amount of damage.
So already from Hackensack to Little Ferry to North Bergen, Arlington, Hoboken have to be ready for these storms. And let's be prepared in New York City for some heavy thunderstorms potentially capable of producing tornadoes. We do have a tornado watch, by the way, across most of the area except for Suffolk County that will take us all the way till 9 o'clock. So maybe we're just scratching the surface of this particular threat. But this latest tornado warning, that's still 3:45 for Essex and Passaic. And then, of course, that cell that we were looking at over Morris County.
The Sullivan stuff the Sullivan tornado warning has been allowed to expire, it looks like.
Okay, so we have severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings that are going on across the northernmost suburbs. All right,
yeah, Essex and parts of Passaic right now. That's obviously Morris, where it's happening right now. That's ground zero right now during the next half hour to 45 minutes.
Okay. All right, so we had that initial rotation near Wayne. This is still the strongest one and the strongest signature. On your color coding, you're still seeing the high levels?
I'm seeing very high levels just east of Morristown, north of Madison. No. Were you referring to the northern stuff, Lee?
No, I was talking about that cell that's headed toward Troy Hills and Livingston. I just want to see the...
we still have very strong rotation.
Okay.
On our shear tracker. Maybe not quite as strong as it was when it was over like Mendham, but still very defined. And yeah, moving in the general direction of Livingston and western parts of Essex County.
You know, you were making reference to these potentially right-turning storms, and I just don't love that all of a sudden the last couple frames I've seen a little bit more of an easterly turn here with some of these cells.
So far, no new storm reports. Well, hopefully people are heeding the warnings and just hunkering down in their basements in these areas. And, when it's safe to do so, then you come out and call in your storm reports. But no confirmed reports yet. We did have that observer, National Weather Service trained observer, that said he saw a tornado touch down in western Morris County a little bit earlier, associated with these same storms that are moving through parts of New Jersey.
So the two things you're looking at here on the left, Jeff is showing the actual tornado warning from Morris, and then he's also indicating where some of the greatest shear is headed toward Florham Park. I'm showing a similar tool on the right and also some color coding, which if you're looking for the combinations of reds and greens, there's rotation in the area, and you can see the overall general movement of the circulation with these storms. And they're, yes, off to the east, but there's a little bit more. They were off to the northeast, so there's more of an easterly component here, which may put the city in line for some of these storms. But the strongest area of rotation right here, and again, approaching the Livingston area right now.
Which at times, our automated system there has been showing rotation reaching all the way down to near the ground, which is, very concerning. Otherwise, it's been more of a mesocyclone type of signature where the thunderstorm is rotating, but maybe not necessarily reaching down to the ground. But just on that reflectivity there, Lee, I mean, that's quite the echo. That's quite the hook echo just south of Troy Hills there.
You're talking about on my radar right here?
On your radar right there. That's quite a hook echo right in there.
Right there, okay.
Headed toward, just south of Troy Hills and headed toward 280.
Yeah, and then look at the new shear marker. It's just south of Kinnelon that actually just started to flare up too. So I mean, you just have multiple cells. There's really a minefield out there within this cluster of storms from Kinnelon to Troy Hills over to Patterson.
Yeah, and I mean, the only piece of good news is the stuff that was moving into Bergen County, the rotation up there seems to have weakened markedly. So it's almost like it's all consolidating over this cell over southeastern Morris, about to move over into western Essex County. And actually, the latest frame, Lee, the shear got even stronger again as it's heading into Florham Park. I mean, that is bearing down on Florham, right along the Columbia Turnpike, just moved past Whippany Road. It moved right over Route 24 there. It moved past 287 a little while ago, but the shear is definitely starting to increase again. It's kind of been pulsing up and down.
Right, Jeff. We got some damage news from the newsroom. Mike Mars is standing by. Mike, what do you have?
Yeah, Lee and Jeff, we want to jump on the phone with the director of the Morris County Office of Emergency Management, Jeff Paul. And Jeff, if you can hear me, are you with us here on Channel 7?
Yes, I am.
Director, tell us what the situation is right now, because we're seeing it develop on the radar. You're there on the ground. What are you hearing?
I mean, we're seeing the remnants of what's being described to us by callers as a rotation. We have, in the storm, we've seen some damage up in the Roxbury, Dover, Mount Olive area, but honestly, it's not terribly significant. We do have trees and wires down, some roadway closures as a result of it coming through. It's not to the level of our last storm at the moment, but, we're watching it, hoping that it's, moving its way through Morris. But, we do see the result of it. We actually did see the rotation out the windows of the 911 center, so that was unique. But, our activity has increased as a result of it, but, it's not anything terribly significant at the moment, but we do see some damage from it coming through the roadways.
Guys, we just got a damage report in as of 2:43. Video sent in of a tornado on the ground sent from a driving range in Parsippany. And Jeff, if you can hear me there, west of there in Stanhope, we had a National Weather Service trained observer report a tornado that touched down in that area. Have you heard anything from those particular communities, either Parsippany, Troy Hills, or Stanhope?
Yeah, we have heard some reports of, people are describing it as, tornado-related activity, and that's where we're getting our trees down. We've had some trees down, fires, roadway closures as a result of that, flooding, that kind of stuff. We have not had any reports of residential compromise or, commercial, structures being damaged at this point. We do have some residential fire reports coming in, traffic issues, wires down, some fires, related to wires and trees. But that's the activity that we're seeing at the moment.
Director, we want to show some of our first images. In fact, the first image of Morris County with some ominous-looking clouds. If we can put that up on the screen, and we can see here that storm as it's building off in the distance. Jeff, take us through that moment. Did you lay eyes on the funnel yourself, and what did you see out the window? I mean, that sounded like a pretty dramatic scene.
We did see that from the 911 center as we're handling 911 calls here. We did see the rotation, clouds above it. Certainly very different than what we've seen, and quite frankly have not seen that in our normal, storm out the window kind of. But this was a different picture. Certainly, it made sense, that there was a tornado warning, and then we saw this, rotation and activity. So, we did see it here. It did coincide with some of our calls as far as, people describing seeing the same thing. The public was calling saying, hey, I saw this. What do I do? We were instructing them to go to the lowest point of their house, take shelter in the basement, stay away from the windows, the, traditional warnings. We did have calls from motorists asking us, hey, what should we do? We said, hey, if you could get off the road to a safe spot, do that. You can't outrun the tornado, and depending on where you're going, you may be, heading right to it. So we're encouraging people to be safe, pull off to the side of the road, seek shelter, because we were seeing some hydroplaning issues, some accidents as a result of, the roadway conditions. So that's pretty much, what's going on here, and the recommendations we've been, providing to the public as we kind of wait this out. As I'm talking to you, I noticed that the rain is tapering a bit from the windows of the 911 center. We're seeing a bit of, clearing, so to speak, in what we were looking at shortly ago when we saw the rotation. Hopefully, it slows down and doesn't cause too much havoc for anybody, we hope.
Fingers crossed on that. And as we see this image on the left, just to remind people, I mean, Morris County, we're talking about over 500,000 people live in this county. And Jeff Smith and Lee, can you walk us through how much longer is Morris County in this cell that you're highlighting here? How much longer are these people under the gun?
Well, this is at least over the next half hour. So, Jeff, I just wanted to ask, have you been in touch with your family? Is this storm
yes,
approaches?
my wife just texted me. She's in the basement watching us on the phone from Livingston. And it's, it's heading right toward Livingston. It's headed right along Route 10, that maximum rotation right over East Hanover, headed toward the Livingston area, just about to cross over from Morris County into western Essex County. So in terms of Morris County, the danger will be probably lessening a little bit, at least from this particular cell, during the next few minutes. But now it's going to be all about Essex County, western Essex County, during the next half hour. And piggybacking on what Jeff said right there, you can see that, number one, we have severe thunderstorm warnings up and flash flood warnings up for Bergen County into parts of, let me go ahead and get the actual flash flood warning right here. It's hard to isolate with all the other tornado warnings out. But Jeff, maybe you can give me a timing on that, on the flash flood warning in Bergen County. But there's the tornado warning in Essex County till 3:30. And then 3:45 for Morris County right here. So Morris County, another 20 minutes, and then Morris County will start to quiet down, at least for temporarily, until some other storms come in from the west. Flash flood warning for Bergen is until 6:15. Okay. Yep. Okay. Going back to the rotation right here, again, you can see it right over Livingston, working toward North Caldwell right now. Yeah, this is crossing right over from eastern Morris into western parts of Essex, right along Route 10. I'll tell you, there's a lot of stores. That's a very commercialized area near East Hanover. And it's a very busy roadway. So, hopefully a lot of people decided to stay off the roads. And our automated system there you see on the right has been indicating a lot of rotation, even all the way down to ground level in some cases. And again, we've gotten reports. We've gotten a couple of reports now of tornadoes. Stanhope, again, that was earlier. That was 210, a train spotter witnessing a tornado touching down near Interstate 80 and US Route 206, trees and debris on the road. In the latest one from Troy Hills, video sent in of a tornado on the ground, sent from a driving range in Parsippany. That time estimated from radar about 2:43. So that was, Lee, that was when those cells, the northern part of it was stronger. That was not from this this southern flank here that's moving into, say, Livingston. That's exactly right. Now, so this is moving now east at 25. So now that it has easterly movement, we can get eyes on this. And I want to just take that exact rotation right over here. I want to head it toward New York City, which would bring it close to Secaucus just before 4 o'clock. The story of 410. So basically around 4 o'clock in New York City, if this storm were to maintain its structure and its movement right now, that 4 o'clock hour. And by the way, it looks like I have a new shear marker, which is near Harding. So a couple of cells there. Oh, and look at that off to the west, south of Mount Olive, between Mount Olive and High Bridge. All of a sudden, we're getting some. Look at that. Some pretty good rotation. Again, another strong tornado signature, which may be going down to the ground. P-PAC Gladstone. Make sure you're taking cover as that storm begins to approach.
Off to the north, look at this. New signature here near Poughkeepsie. Let me see, is there a tornado warning?
There's a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning for that area, Lee, and they're putting in their text that a tornado is a possibility within that severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 4:30 for parts of Dutchess and Ulster, including Hyde Park and Poughkeepsie.
Okay, so yeah, Hyde Park, Poughkeepsie, definitely capable of producing a tornado in this area.
That's a strong shear signature just west of Poughkeepsie.
Exactly.
There. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely, and that's going to move right toward Fairview as it crosses over the Hudson. So we've got multiple, I mean, look at, there's the other one over Sullivan County, also showing near Fallsburg. So we have multiple areas of twisting and turning across the area, and a lot of consolidation that's been happening over northeast New Jersey. But by far, this has been the strongest cell right now that is moving into Livingston and West Caldwell right now.
Yeah, and really, I mean, the signature doesn't show a lot of signs of weakening, that's for sure. As it heads into western Essex, right along Route 10 there, that tornado warning continues until 3:45, heading right into Livingston from East Hanover, eastern Morris County into western Essex County. And that other cell is interesting, Lee, that you mentioned just northwest of Harding, northern parts of Somerset County. Got to watch that guy there right along I-287. That's a pretty good area of rotation. I know that area is only under a flash flood warning right now, no severe warnings, but I wouldn't be surprised if something gets issued.
Yeah, Morris has had multiple rounds of storms working through. Once again, if you just, if you look at it from the big picture, you can see that northeasterly movement. There's definitely a spread of the eastern edge of this shield of supercells that's starting to spread eastward, and it looks like there was just a flare-up in the last frame. I wonder if I can, let me pull up some cameras, but it looks like probably our GWB cam, we're looking across from the west. Let me go ahead and cycle through a couple things here. All right, so there we are. We're actually looking right in that direction from Midtown as the skies start to get darker over New York City. Go ahead and just do a scan across the area. All right, there's the GWB. I don't know if I'm seeing a shelf cloud there.
It kind of has that look, right?
Right. So what that's an indicator of when you're looking at that type of cloud formation, just a sort of a leading edge of very gusty winds as the air rushes out of the thunderstorm. A look at the GWB right here. All right, here's torrential rain happening near the Mario Cuomo Bridge. So even outside of the tornadic storms.
Just going to check for some more storm reports. We got another storm report in addition to those potential tornado reports just for people out driving in Dover, Morris County. I mean, they're just taking it in the chin, right? As of 3:20, exit 35, ramp closed on I-80 due to high water and flooded roadways. So they're getting, potential tornadoes and also flash flooding.
So you see what's going on in the big picture here. By the way, we haven't mentioned you of eastern Long Island. There's some heavy downpours that have just come off the ocean that are moving across. Not warned just yet. That area of yellow is a tornado watch, which will take us until 9 o'clock tonight. We have severe thunderstorm warnings that are working up over parts of Ulster and Dutchess counties. You have flash flood warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings over Sullivan. And then, of course, this whole area right here from the lower Hudson Valley across northern New Jersey, which contain multiple tornado warnings. So let's zoom right into this right now. Take off the watches so you can see it better. And there's a couple of different radar modes that we use. This one in particular is doing a little bit better job at it's a little bit more delayed than the other one, but at the same time, it's doing a nice job showing the hook echo signatures.
Yes.
And what you can see here is, are we seeing the development of another potential area of rotation from Westwood down to Inglewood Cliffs? So that's near Hackensack. So that was that darkening sky and the shelf cloud I showed you. So there's exactly where the camera was looking at, toward Fairview and Fort Lee, live lightning strike over Upper Manhattan. And then you can see the multiple, I'm just going to stop it so you can see it right here. So you can kind of see the multiple extensions here and the incredible shear indicator near Troy Hills.
Right. I'm literally texting my wife right now in western Essex County, and I'm telling her, let me know if you see anything interesting or hear anything interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
she's in the basement.
Okay. And you see the shear markers near Fairfield and Troy Hills, and the potential rotation might just be now either over or moving just east of Livingston. So now I'm going to switch to that other radar I talked about, which is a little bit more current. Kind of a similar picture there. Tremendous lightning display over West Caldwell.
It looks like it might have moved. Yeah, it looks like it might have moved right over West Caldwell,
right.
Worst of it. Just north of Livingston, just north, right along Route 10, just north of Route 10, and now moving on to the I-280 corridor.
And if I'm going to make it a really slow loop so you can get a feel for its movement here. And we'll just give you the last 30 minutes or so. All right, so here's the overall movement. And you see how it's just north of east. But upper Manhattan getting into it right now. Some of the heaviest looks like it's not necessarily into like a Staten Island and Brooklyn, but more upper Manhattan. You can see the worst of it headed toward Bloomfield and over to Clifton right now, and over to Rutherford. I haven't done a hail indicator just yet in this particular area. I actually have it available. Let's see. So there's some hail near Livingston and West Caldwell. Looks like half-inch hail in that area.
It looks like, you know, the atmosphere might be a little bit too warm overall into the mid-levels to produce a ton of hail, but there definitely has been some hail with these.
Okay, so here is what we call a debris indicator along with an indicator of the most significant rotation. As you were saying, Jeff, look, right over West Caldwell.
Right.
And what we're looking for is when we look at kind of this, you know, it looks kind of snowy and there's so many colors and it's hard to discern. But you're looking for sort of a deviation from the normal kind of color patterns in this to see if there's any debris.
And it kind of looked like for a while, south of Troy Hills.
Right in there,
That looked like it was the
yes.
strongest rotation and maybe the best signature for, or the worst signature for
Right.
debris.
So you tell me like the residue would be like here between Cedar Grove and Clifton.
Exactly.
That would be that little area, maybe headed toward Woodridge, and that would kind of align where everything has been. I'll go back to that more clear shear marker here on my end. And it would indicate maybe a little less organization there, but still pretty good couplet headed toward Clifton.
Yeah,
Patterson,
you know what? The last
Bloomfield.
couple of frames, Lee, that shear has decreased a lot.
Yep.
As it moved, you know, it moved over West Caldwell, and now it's moving over toward, it's moving toward Verona. It's right over Roseland right now, and the shear has definitely gone down quite a bit, which is good news.
It's interesting, and I wonder if that may be reacting to the fact that we've had the south-southeast wind in the city all day, and maybe some of the marine air trying to help stabilize things a little bit.
Right, as it moves farther east, it gets into the more stable air mass.
Yeah, I mean, it's also moving into areas that have had tremendous amount of rainfall all day long, too. All right, so just going back, we had that tornado warning. It is 3:36 right now. And that tornado warning is until 3:45 for Essex and Passaic County. There is one that is right behind it. Same timing, that's the Florham Park and Hanover and Troy Hills area.
Yeah, that is interesting. There's another little rotational area between Florham Park and Whippany.
And then, of course, flash flood warnings all through. You see the heavier rain has now reached Harlem and into the parts of Bronx and into Yonkers. I'll go ahead and do a quick radar estimate here because we've gotten tremendous rains. Actually, let me erase that. Check this out.
Yeah, I've seen some over 6-inch radar estimates. Southern Westchester a little earlier.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow, 7.1.
How about that? Is that like right near, just north of Alpine, Hastings on Hudson? Tremendous. I mean, you know, coming down the Sawmill, there was flooding actually when I was coming in already, and that was where you had mentioned the storm report near Hartsdale.
Oh, right, and when New York Route 100 was flooded in
Nearly
both directions earlier.
6 inches of rain right here. Bergen County's been getting that's right near Ridgewood. See, city, it's amazing. It's just south and east we just haven't seen that type of rainfall. But again, notice, look at all the damage reports are north and west of New York City, where there was the morning flooding over Connecticut, or trees down and flooding over Westchester and Rockland, hail reports over Bergen County, and then, of course, these two reports right now. One over Troy Hills and one over Stanhope, with a train spotter witnessing a tornado touching down the intersection of I-80 and I-206. And video sent in near Troy Hills of a tornado on the ground near a driving range, or on a driving range, near a driving range in Parsippany.
My wife just texted me, seems like it went just north of us. It got windy briefly, and you know, she's in the Livingston area.
Okay.
Maybe that was from being near the rotation, and they heard a lot of thunder. But without radar, she wouldn't know it was something special from there, from their exact location. So I'm thankful to hear that.
Yes.
but it looks like the maximum rotation and may move just north of where we are.
Boy, Jeff, and you can see exactly what Jem was saying. I mean, if you look like right here, it's basically, like you said, maybe it was worse over North Caldwell and into the oranges right now.
Right.
So you can almost just see the radar return twisting on that frame.
Yes. Yeah, and everything, you know, earlier we had this really concentrated area of shear.
Right.
It was almost like a ball of shear. Now it's kind of diffuse. There's a couple of different areas of rotation, and they don't seem nearly as strong as they did before. So I'm thinking that in 6 minutes, when this tornado warning expires, they should probably let it expire and don't extend it. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see if it pulses back up again.
Yeah, you know, I still see a little bit of a hook echo here, West Orange to Bloomfield. Right. There's another little extension northwest to Summit near Madison right now. There's still plenty of rotation in there. But like you were saying, maybe a little less impressive, which is great news. Does not mean that the damaging wind threat and heavy rain threat is over. Mike Mars in the newsroom with more information. Mike?
Lee and Jeff are finally getting some indications of just what the storm has left behind today. You mentioned Route 17 in Bergen County really got walloped with a lot of rain in a short period of time. And so now that has led to some flooding. You can see captured here again, Route 17 in Bergen County, one of the areas that just got raked with all this rain that came through this afternoon. So that's in New Jersey, but the storm also caused issues in Trumbull, Connecticut. We're getting our first images of what it looked like there, and just this deluge of all the rain with nowhere to go, falling at a fast clip in a short amount of time. So you're seeing the flash flooding results and the evidence starting to come into Eyewitness News. We mentioned New Jersey really bearing the brunt of these storms, though, and that has led to some flight cancellations, and I'll get to those in just a moment. We're talking about LaGuardia. Almost half of the flights scheduled for today canceled, 234. Kennedy, 145 cancellations, 21% of the scheduled flights at Kennedy. And then you see there Newark, 137 cancellations, almost a quarter of the scheduled flights a no-go as these storms continue to roll through. Maybe a curious number, and a number that's expected to grow likely as we hear these storm reports. At last check, New Jersey power outages a little more than 6,000. But Jeff and Lee, as people are starting to deal with the wake of the storm, it's important to remind everybody, as you all have been doing for more than 90 minutes, this isn't over.
No, not at all. I'm just getting video from a viewer in, just make sure that I have this correct. This is from Caldwell, New Jersey. I'm going to send this to our media managers and up to the newsroom. It looks like it is video of, could even be multiple weak tornadoes over parts of Caldwell. Excuse my voice, Jeff. Maybe you'll pick it up here as I send this.
Yeah,
up
that's
to the
it. You
newsroom.
know, Lee's getting video from that area near Caldwell. That moved just north of Livingston. That was some of the strongest rotation that we had. So no big surprise that we could be getting, you know, some video of maybe sometimes you do get multiple weak tornadoes in one frame. So we'll see what that shows us. Wanted to show you our futurecast really quick. Mike was asking, you know, it was mentioned that this is not over yet. And check out what's going to be happening later on today. We're going to be watching that line moving in from eastern Pennsylvania, and we'll have to see how that behaves as it moves into the New York City area by around 6, 7 o'clock. So this is far from over. And in fact, those areas over central and southern New Jersey who haven't gotten much, you've been getting super warm and unstable the past couple of hours. So the atmosphere is really primed. Somerville all the way down toward Belmar and Toms River. So some of the storms could really be strong south of New York City as we head into the early part of the evening. And again, some of the storm reports we've been getting include a couple of tornado reports. And Lee's checking on some video right now that came in from Caldwell. But Stanhope, a trained spotter, witnessed a tornado touching down at the intersection of Interstate 80 and U.S. Route 206. If you're just tuning in, that happened at 2:10, and also at Troy Hills, video sent in of a tornado on the ground. That was sent in from a driving range in the Parsippany area. That was as of 2:43, and of course we're getting multiple flooding reports in addition to that. But those are the two tornado reports that we've been getting. And in terms of the rotation with these storms, the good news is the rotation has significantly weakened. So I'm interested to see in about 2 minutes from now. It's coming up on 3:43. That tornado warning should be allowed to expire over Essex. Maybe there's just enough rotation to extend it off to the east, and we'll see if they do so in about 2 minutes at 3:45. But right now, that's set to expire at 3:45 p.m. That tornado warning. It looks like the strongest rotation was a little bit earlier during the past half hour.
Jeff, let's look at this together. We
Sure.
turned around this video.
All
This
right,
is from
great.
Caldwell, New Jersey. And you can see it if you look really closely here. You'll be able to see. You can see the vortices for sure, and then you can see some of the debris kind of being kicked up.
Yeah, that's not just a scud cloud. I mean, there's some good rotation in there all the way down to the ground. I mean, it doesn't look like a particularly strong tornado, but it certainly looks like a funnel cloud that's reached almost all the way down to the ground. Yeah,
potentially an EF0 tornado out near Caldwell, New Jersey, and potentially, obviously, coming out of the hill country there, maybe having a little bit of a hard time kind of getting its sea legs, but maybe it got a little stronger as that rotation got better over parts of Caldwell. Piggybacking over what you said, this is, again, a high-res futurecast, which kind of shows an interesting trend, and it's almost like, the atmosphere is really going to town now and maybe using up a lot of the energy it has, because it is showing, it's definitely bad storms over Connecticut and parts of Long Island after 6, but definitely, less activity, even though we can still have strong storms into the evening hours. So we certainly could be going through the main show, at least from the city on northward. Like you said, Jeff, we have to be very careful of some discrete cells until sunset south of I-78.
Yeah, this stuff west of Philadelphia is really starting to flare up. So I'm concerned, Monmouth and Ocean, maybe parts of Middlesex a little bit later. That air mass is very unstable. And we got some stuff, let's see, west of Allentown as well. Some severe thunderstorm warnings, potential tornadic signatures out there. So as that moves off to the east, got to watch out over central parts of New Jersey.
All right, so there is our tornado warning right now till 3:45. So we've got 10 seconds. Let's see what they do.
Let's see what they do.
See what they do with this particular warning right now. By the way, look at the menacing clouds over the George Washington Bridge as we look at the Fort Lee side headed into Manhattan.
Has expired.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow, look at that picture with the low-hanging cloudiness there and the tremendous rains coming in. So, that's actually, if you look right here, I have it on radar. Let me take the watch off so you can see it a little bit more clearly here. But you've got some of the heavy downpours just to the north of GWB, and to the south it's that low-hanging scud over the GWB. Boy, the shear marker is still pretty impressive. Working over I-80 near Clifton and Patterson, so still, of course, capable of producing some damaging winds. But happy to say the tornado warning was allowed to expire at 3:45. We still have a very powerful cluster of storms from lower Westchester, Rockland, into Bergen County, into the Bronx, upper Manhattan, into parts of Passaic County as well, into parts of Essex County.
And what's good is, they didn't even issue a severe thunderstorm warning. They didn't even extend the severe thunderstorm warning for Greece. They said is weakened below severe limits as of 3:45. So now it's mainly a flash flooding threat from here on in. Where there is a severe thunderstorm is over Dutchess County, and we have that's some pretty strong rotation. They're saying within the text of their warning there that there's the possibility of a tornadic signature just northeast of Poughkeepsie there.
Yeah, we've seen that area from Poughkeepsie up to the New Hyde Park area flare up a couple of times, but this is definitely the strongest right now. I'll go ahead and let's go over to the velocities and shear markers in that area. Just bear with me while this comes up. Machine's working hard this afternoon. And there it is right there. So Pleasant Valley, another word that's headed right along Route 44, headed toward Washington. You see Clinton over to Stanford right now, so all that area is showing some strong rotation, which will lift toward Sharon and Pine Plain, so the northern half of Dutchess County. Not only severe thunderstorm, but potentially some tornadic activity in that area.
Yeah, and as of now, there are no tornado warnings in our viewing area.
After having,
which is something that we haven't seen in a while.
Right, that's true. Of course, we had multiple over Sullivan, multiple over northern New Jersey. As Jeff mentioned, there are severe thunderstorm warnings west of Philly, so we still have some more activity that has to come through. And I do think, like what Jeff was saying, after we've really kind of used up all the fuel in the atmosphere from the city north, there's still plenty available south of the city, so we'll have to watch into the late day and early evening south of I-78 for some of these cells to become severe. Mike Mars in the newsroom with some new information.
Lee and Jeff, we are joined by Bergen County Executive Jim Tedesco. Sir, thanks for jumping on. I know it's incredibly busy.
Yeah, we're in Hackensack right now, up on the 5th floor of our administration building, and we're in the middle of quite a storm right now. Lightning, it's pitch black, extremely heavy rain, a lot of localized flooding. But this is the heart of it right now over the last hour.
We saw some images of just the heavy amounts of rain that you described pounding Route 17, and really that whole area has been under the gun for quite some time. What is your biggest concern as we approach the 4 o'clock hour?
Yeah, we're concerned of the rivers, the streams, the brooks. Because of the rain earlier this morning, around 10 o'clock, we had heavy downpours, and now this is what we've been preparing for most of the day, is the anticipated flooding and the overrunning of the banks on a lot of these streams and rivers here. And don't forget, we take everything from the northern part of the county and Rockland County, so that all comes south. So we're going to see a huge surge, because I'm watching your maps and the radar, and there's a lot of rain up in the north, which is going to find its way down here. So we're going to prepare for quite an extensive amount of flooding.
Fingers crossed for you and your teams that will be heading out. I mean, what is the plan of attack right now as you prepare to deal with this flooding?
Yeah, we've put out warnings about people not to be driving through flooded roadways, and people that live in these flood-prone areas to start to make plans for what's about to come. So there's a bit of a delayed reaction, because the water has to find its way all the way down from up in Rockland and the north down to here. But just the rain itself here now is flooding everything around here.
Yeah, on the left side of your screen, I believe this is the video from Route 17 that we were describing just a moment ago. This is actually 280. This is 280 that you're looking at with the windshield wipers and the heavy rain coming down. Sir, let me ask you, though.
We're actually getting reports 17's now closed in a couple places.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What are the areas right now that you are focused on and that you want to tell your residents there in Bergen County to avoid?
Yeah, anyone along the Saddle River, anyone along the Ramapo River, people along the Upper Hackensack watershed area, those are the people that really should be making sure that they're ready, they're prepared because of the amount of water that's coming down. And the people driving, if they're still driving, they shouldn't be driving through water, that's for sure. And now that we're getting reports of the highway being closed, that's just going to add tremendous amount of congestion around here as we hit rush hour.
Yeah, you make a good point at the time of day, and with more rain to come. Just a couple of more, sir, and I'll let you get back to the work that you're doing tonight. We heard of a few power outages, at least in comparison to the people that live there, but a little over 6,000 in the state of New Jersey. Are you hearing about wires down or power outages in Bergen?
Yeah, we have a few areas, but not quite as extensive as the July 4th storm, thank God. But no, we're seeing some more lightning now, which we haven't seen a lot of right now. We're getting more lightning, so that could potentially take some wires and trees down too. So that's just happening right now as I'm talking to you, I think there's the last number I heard was somewhere in the hundreds of people out in Bergen County.
And then finally, sir, right now, what is your plan as you head into the evening? Will you stay at the headquarters there and continue to monitor these reports coming in? What do you plan to do to respond?
Yeah, we have our emergency operations center that is now staffed. We're going to continue to have that staffed through the evening, and either I'll be running to there and work out of there, or we'll continue to work out of the administration building here in Hackensack. Depends on where I can get to with the water, the trees, and the wires. So it may be easier. I mean, this cell that we have over us now, I mean, it's still pitch black here. The lights are all on all over the place, and it is just coming down at some rate, some rainfall rate. It's got to be a couple inches an hour in the rainfall rate here.
Just incredible. Jim Tedesco, Bergen County Executive. I know a lot of work ahead of you. We're thinking about you and your team. Stay safe, and we'll be checking back in.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. And Lee and Jeff, it's just incredible. As we were talking to him in Bergen, just over there, the George W. Bridge video, it looks like night has fallen. This is incredible to see, as the city really has been spared until now.
Well, we right now, not only do we have heavy downpours, and I'm just concerned that, you know, our shear markers have even pulsed up here one more time over parts of Bergen, Passaic, and into Essex County. So you've got tremendous rain, heavy downpours, as you were hearing right near Hackensack. That is now going to cross over the GW Bridge into Manhattan and into the Bronx, where we already have some heavy rain in the northern part of the Bronx and into Yonkers. You have some very strong winds potentially from Clifton to Patterson and then back over once again toward Livingston. Again, you can almost see another formation of a potential hook echo near Livingston and Bloomfield. So yes, the tornado warnings have expired, but that does not mean that we are free of damaging winds, which are once again taking aim along with areas of flash flooding. I mean, it's such a dangerous situation right now over northeast New Jersey and now headed into lower Westchester and parts of New York City, which have been spared for much of the day. And by the way, this is not Staten Island and over into Brooklyn and even Queens, northern Queens getting into some showers. This is all northeast New Jersey into upper Manhattan and into the Bronx. Jeff?
Yeah, and it kind of seems like there's a line right now developing from Scranton all the way down to near Harrisburg. And after that moves on by, I think we're kind of in the clear. And that seems to be targeting around 7 p.m. or so. Here in New York City. Maybe you're still getting some stuff on Long Island after that. But from here until 7, so the next 3+ hours, we're going to be dealing with the potential for severe storms. And we have some severe thunderstorm warnings now over eastern Pennsylvania. And we'll just have to see how those storms behave as they translate east into New Jersey over parts of the state that have been so warm and humid, where these storms can really feed off of that moisture.
I want to look at this futurecast, but it's not initializing very well, which means, in other words, it's not seeing exactly where the better thunderstorms are. This one's doing a little better job, our high-res futurecast. Let's see how this all evolves, see how we still go through some rounds there over northeast New Jersey over the next hour or two. It's interesting that there are a couple of cells, Jeff, that do get over central and southern New Jersey, but the other ones that are very strong coming out of western Pennsylvania, they kind of dive down toward the Delmarva, and we're not seeing as many storms come in there. I mean, I'll just show you on the wide view here what I'm talking about. And by the way, look at that menacing shot. That shot courtesy of Empire. Ooh. Yeah, incredible. Spooky. So those are the storms on the other side of the Hudson.
Wow, talk about that's a shelfie-looking cloud right there.
Yeah, exactly. So there it is right there, what it looks like on radar, next to what it looks like on camera as that storm begins to cross the Hudson and come into the west side. And it looks like it's almost basically 50th Street northward up through Manhattan will be affected most by this storm. Our studios down in lower Manhattan, a little live lightning strike over Bayonne right there.
And there you go. Look, shows you that lightning can happen well out ahead of the rainfall, too. You got to be careful.
Absolutely. Wow, is that just amazing. Okay, so there it is. Bigger storms over northeast New Jersey. But what I was saying to you right there is we prepare on our evening hours. We've got very heavy downpours of the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, into northeast New Jersey and New York City. But if you notice, I mean, we have tornado warning storms that are coming out of southeast Ohio. These seem to be going more this direction. Right. So we might get a few of these cells here, and then, like you said, we could be in the clear after maybe the 7 o'clock hour, while the rest of the storms begin to slide up to our south.
This futurecast I have on my computer seems to be initializing those lines over Pennsylvania pretty well.
Okay.
And it's showing them, getting into about the I-95 corridor between 6 and 7, and then after that, it's over Long Island and offshore the Jersey Shore.
Okay, there are those flash flood warnings now. I'm going to go from right to left here. Flash flood warning 6:45. That'll be the Bergen, Bronx, into Manhattan and Westchester, and more upper Manhattan. You see the second flash flood warning until 6:15, Bergen, Essex, Hudson, and Passaic County. And then more flash flood warnings. Let me just zoom in here so it grabs it. Till 7 p.m. for parts of Morris County. But look, this is the first time today we're really seeing the heavy rainfall and strong winds getting ready to impact parts of New York City. So this is ready to move into Manhattan right now. Let me see if I can find some other cameras here while we're looking at that.
Yeah, you know, the stuff that was moving from Allentown into western New Jersey beginning to weaken a little bit over Hunterdon.
Sorry, Jeff. Looking on my camera, look at the shelf cloud getting ready to move into New York City.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
What an amazing sight.
So shelf cloud, that's an indication. When you see that sort of dark shaded cloud and above it, that sort of billowing cloud, that's just an indication of a gust front and some very strong winds that are about to come into New York City. And you can see the initial raindrops now on the camera to the left over Empire.
And overall, you know, the stuff moving into the city in northeastern New Jersey and parts of Rockland and Westchester, the biggest threat right now is flash flooding.
I don't know if I'm seeing hail in there or that's just really large raindrops, but we're looking at our camera in Empire right now, looking south and west as the storm crosses the Hudson. So I found that camera there. Here's another one. Look at how, you're erasing the view down to lower Manhattan as the storm begins to move in. Incredible views as the storm was in. Oh, here's a clear, look at that. So that, folks, is a textbook
classic
shelf cloud coming over the RFK Triborough Bridge. So that's extending down from the cloud. That's all that cold air rushing down from the thunderstorm and more dense cold air and just indicating all the gusty winds coming in. That's incredible.
Yeah, so like I was saying, you know, the stuff moving into the city right now, definitely a flash flood threat. The damaging wind threat has lessened. We don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings near the city. It's all flash flood warnings. But we do have that severe thunderstorm warning continuing for Dutchess County. We've had some rotation with that storm there north of Poughkeepsie. And we also have some storms moving in from eastern Pennsylvania. Those storms south of Scranton. We're just going to have to keep an eye on those as they head into western New Jersey. The question is, did the atmosphere use up all its energy a little bit earlier? It may have, and these storms may weaken as they move in. We hope so.
You mentioned the flash flood threat. I mean, look at what it's like to drive across the GWB right now. Pretty scary with torrential rain running in there.
Up, we're getting another. It looks like we got a wind damage report, Lee, from, let's see where this is, Patterson. Downed pole on New Jersey 20, both directions at Passaic County Road 651. So all lanes closed in both directions. So there was some wind damage there in Patterson. That was with some of that rotation that remember was moving from Wayne over toward Patterson. That kind of weakened as it moved into Patterson, but there was some rotation with that cell.
No, that strong signature of rotation, I mean, it maintained itself 30, 40 miles.
Yeah, sure. And then that gave way to the stronger rotation off to the south. And I'm interested to see the reports that we'll probably be getting from southeastern Morris into parts of Essex County. I'm sure those will come up pretty soon.
What you're looking at on the left radar, that area of yellow is still a tornado watch that will take us until 9 o'clock. It does look like the main tornado threat we've gone through over the past few hours. We still have to be vigilant with some of these storms. And you can see, you know, that, like you said, that line from Scranton to just north of Harrisburg or extending down toward Allentown has actually got a little stronger as of late. And there's another cell that's working over Hunterdon that has actually flared up a little bit.
Very different characteristics and very linear. It's a line.
Right.
It's not like isolated, discrete supercell thunderstorms out ahead of the line like we got, you know, during the past couple of hours over northeastern New Jersey. So maybe there's a straight line. There could definitely be a straight line wind threat with those. But like you said, the tornado threat probably just maximized itself a little while ago.
All right, you are now watching Eyewitness News First at 4 as we continue our severe weather coverage. We've had multiple tornadoes confirmed over parts of New Jersey. The threat continues into the early evening hours, and Dave Navarro and Liz Cho join us now.
All right, Lee, thank you very much to both you and Jeff for your extensive coverage this afternoon as we try to navigate all the severe weather that is happening in our area right now.
Yeah, we've been following the breaking news all afternoon. Violent storms wreaking havoc across the tri-state with a view. Tornado warnings in the Hudson Valley, northern New Jersey. There have been multiple reports of tornadoes touching down in northern New Jersey. One of them witnessed by a trained spotter in Morris County. Most of our area is under a tornado watch through later tonight. And good afternoon. I'm David Navarro on a very busy afternoon.
Yes, and I'm Liz Cho, and you're watching Eyewitness News First at 4. We have been on the air with you since 2 this afternoon, tracking this wild weather. Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, along with meteorologist Jeff Smith, they have been taking us through all of this step by step, all of the tornado warnings, all of the flash flood warnings. We want to get right to them with the very latest. Lee.
All right, thank you, Dave and Liz. I'm just, reorienting some of our radars right now, and I'll head over to the weather wall in just a moment. But we've been working on a very localized level as of late, and I want to make sure that, you see everything that we're able to look at here. And I can also maybe ask Jeff, if possible, if you could maybe switch over to Max 1 and just maybe work this weather computer a little bit, if possible. You can even do it off of Max 2 if you'd like. But tornado watches till 9 o'clock tonight. But we've had multiple tornadoes reported over Troy Hills and into Parsippany. That was a storm that made its way through Livingston and into the Caldwell area. So at hand right now, what we have is an area of thunderstorms over Ulster and Dutchess County. And it looks like there is a severe thunderstorm warning right here. I don't know, Jeff, maybe you could zoom into that one. But that's near Poughkeepsie right now. Some very strong winds, heavy downpour, and cloud-to-ground lightning. You see the flood warnings that are over parts of northeast New Jersey. So you have what is now a severe thunderstorm warning and a flash flood warning that's over parts of Poughkeepsie right now. And you can tell me in my ear, if maybe, Jeff, you're still on mic, what time this goes till. But this is traveling along and just northwest of I-44 and lifting up toward places like Pine Plains as we go through the evening hours.
It is in effect until 4:30.
Okay, so that's in effect at 4:30. And the winds with that 60-mile-per-hour gust?
Up to 60, quarter-sized hail as well.
Okay, very good. Let's go down into the cluster of storms that's over the lower Hudson Valley into New York City. So we've got those heavy downpours up to about Bedford and Mount Kisco. So 684, this is going to be a really rough beginning of the evening commute on I-684. We've got new flash flood warnings that are over lower Westchester. The storms have gotten into Manhattan with heavy downpours. We saw a huge shelf cloud rolling in, a menacing cloud moving into Manhattan.
And Lee,
yes,
if you can hear me, that flash flood warning in effect for portions of Bergen, Bronx, and also southern Westchester. Now they're considering that life-threatening flash flooding, and that goes right through 645. Just because of all the tremendous amount of rain that they already had, and they're getting 1 to 2 inch per hour rates right now over those areas that already got upwards of 6 inches, as estimated by radar a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I saw Doppler radar not too far from, I forget what that was, right on the northeast corner of Bergen County that was up near 7 inches of rainfall. You can see the heavy rainfall and gusty winds from, let's say, Alpine all the way down to Closter and Edgewater, and that extends back to Patterson. There is lighter rain off to the west here. We still have flash flood warnings until 7 o'clock. The island, for the most part, I mean, you're going to get some stuff that may be Brush, Glen Cove, and Port Washington, but other than some east end showers, Long Island saying, what's the big deal today? We haven't had the big storms. The majority of the action has been north and west, and especially over northern New Jersey along I-80 as well. There's a line of showers here. That doesn't look terribly strong. We'll have to monitor this cell. There's a little live lightning with that over Hunterdon County. And then there is more over parts of Pennsylvania. If we widen out, just look at the big picture here. We've got an area that's getting into Pike County here. These are warned storms that will try to get into the Delaware water gap. And Philadelphia is under severe thunderstorm warnings right here. So some of these can still go into areas of central and southern New Jersey. This line in particular over Hunterdon. So that could go into Somerset, maybe Middlesex County and into Staten Island. And the other ones could start to go down toward Monmouth and Ocean County. So the southern half of New Jersey we have to be aware of. Figure this threat is going to go for the next few hours into the early evening hours. Then things will start to subside. It looks like the overall tornado threat has diminished, but the strong wind threat and the flash flood threat, that continues into the early evening hours. We'll continue to follow this. I'll be teaming with Jeff throughout the evening hours. Guys, back to you for now.
Lee, I just want to reiterate, you were saying that flash flood warning for Bergen County area. You were saying that, Jeff was saying that there is potential for life-threatening flash flooding. Is that correct?
There's no question. There have been water rescues. There have been water levels that have gone in Connecticut up to the first floor of homes. This is a very serious situation. You do not want to drive through standing water. And yes, life-threatening flooding is not understating what's going on here across northern Bergen County.
All right, Lee, thank you. We do want to get right to Anthony Johnson. He is in Bergen County right now, where the rain is coming down very, very hard. Anthony.
Yeah, it's been coming down in waves for about the last 30 minutes or so. We're in Englewood, New Jersey. This is an area that is prone to flooding. I just want to let you look down the block and see how much rain is falling. All that traffic is building because so much water is building out here on the roadways. Now, the rain has been coming down. We started to get some lightning and thunder action just a few moments ago. So certainly things have gotten a lot worse down here very, very quickly. It's been waves of rain, as I said, pretty much all throughout the day. We had some earlier today, and then they rolled back in this afternoon. Some gray, ominous clouds were out here, and then all of a sudden that big storm rolled into this area. The rain has been pouring down. I would say that the rain rates are just like Jeff and Lee were talking about. A lot of rain falling in a very short period of time. And in a lot of areas of North Jersey, we know that can make for some difficult travel, a lot of flooding out there on the roadways. We did hear from the county executive, Jim Tedesco, a few moments ago on the show, talking about flooding in the area. So do be careful on the roads. As we say, if you see flooding in front of you, turn around and don't drown, because this water can rise very, very quickly, and it can sweep you and a car away very fast. So do not play around with the amounts of rain that we're seeing falling down here. Also, we want to just remind people to make sure that you slow down in traffic out here. Do not drive at the normal speed because you don't know what the person in front of you is about to encounter on the roadway. So take your time. As a matter of fact, some of the good things that we've seen throughout the state, a lot of state offices shutting down at 2 o'clock this afternoon, allowing folks to get on the roads to finally get home to beat this storm. But you can see this rain is coming down, and it has been coming down pretty quickly in the last half hour. It's been something else to watch as this tropical wave, it feels like, of weather just rips through this area. It happened very, very quickly. I tell you, Lee, Jeff, we've been listening to you guys this afternoon. Spot on as far as predicting this weather and just how bad it has been out here. That's the latest live from Englewood, New Jersey. Anthony Johnson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Hey, Anthony, before we let you go, you know, we had on the phone earlier the Bergen County executive. He was saying that parts of 17 have been shut down. Tell me a little bit about your drive to get where you located. When did the rain really start coming down hard?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take long for Route 17 to go underwater in several areas. So I wouldn't be surprised if multiple areas, because cars have to stop. There's an area near the Lowe's on Route 17. That's when you're coming northbound on 17. That area floods very, very quickly. So there are other areas along that roadway. You have to be careful. You'll find everybody either completely stopped or moving over to the left side to try to get around. Driving here, it was pretty easy because we were on top of the storm.
Gotcha.
We were told to head into Bergen County. We got here quickly, and then all of a sudden, the skies just opened up and the rain started to come down, and that's what's made the driving treacherous, especially in the last half hour or so.
Well, we have seen a lot of drivers passing you. Hopefully those drivers understand the severity of the situation and realize that if they do see any flooded streets, not to drive through it, because that could be a very dangerous situation. All right, Anthony, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Stay safe out there. We have on the phone right now the Parsippany Mayor Polkett Desai. Mayor, can you hear us? It's Liz Cho and David Navarro.
Yes, I'm here.
How are the conditions where you are?
In Parsippany, we have quite a few roads flooded, a few cars stranded. Several residents have called in saying that the power is off and then it's back on. Luckily, we have no trees down, so we are actually faring not that bad, actually.
Mayor, earlier we had gotten a report that a tornado might have touched down in your area. Have you heard anything about that?
I have not. It was just a warning, and I think we may have been spared.
Oh, that would be great news. Now, you're also located in a very congested area. We're talking about Route 80. We're talking about Route 46. What is it doing to the roads and the commute in that area?
Well, the traffic, actually, I'm looking out my window right now, and from the police dispatch, traffic is flowing pretty well. We are Tree City, USA, so I'm very thankful that none of our trees have gone down so far compared to the last storm over 4th of July weekend.
That's remarkable. Well, I hope it stays that way.
Yeah. Any emergencies that police or fire they've had to pursue because of any of the downed trees or down power lines or any of the flooding? Any rescues?
Yes, stranded cars because of flooding. A few roads are flooded, so there are some cars that were stranded. But the power lines are not down. Power is off, but they're coming right back on.
Okay. All right.
Excellent.
Mayor, we really appreciate your time. We hope that you and your town and everyone there are going to be safe this afternoon and through the evening.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Let's go back to Lee. Lee, what is the latest you're hearing right now?
All right, so right now, you know, our overall storm profile is really transitioned to more flood concerns and heavy downpours versus tornadic activity. So I just have everything organized here that I want to put into motion for you. Just bear with me 1 second.
Because we were talking about some spotting in that area where the mayor was saying he hadn't heard anything at this point, but you had heard some reports of potential tornado touchdown, correct?
Yes, so we in Troy Hills, Parsippany, I showed some video earlier of a potential tornado in Caldwell. All right, let's go ahead. So here we go. I mean, look at the clouds over New York City. I mean, it looks like a movie scene with these heavy downpours that are working through upper Manhattan right now. And our temperatures at 75, southeast wind at about 10. Of course, it's a steam bath out there. We've had tremendous tropical air moving through. Our general storm totals have shown anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 inches. But you see, the theme is it's all north of the city, but there are some bedded areas in there that have rainfall totals that have exceeded over a half foot of rainfall. The tornado watch is going to go into 9 o'clock tonight. All right, let's start out with the radar right now. And what we're observing is we've got a few warnings. We've got some heavy thunderstorms over Dutchess. We've got heavy downpours Westchester, tremendous lightning display into parts of Manhattan. And then we're also tracking another line that's, well, it's extending all the way from Passaic County down to Hunterdon and a line behind that. All of these have severe storms, and I'll show you where they'll be headed as we go through the evening hours. But you can see we have severe thunderstorm warnings that are working over lower Westchester. I want to go ahead and turn that on because this storm has gone severe, and there's not only some flash flood warnings, but we also have severe thunderstorm warnings here. So let me just turn on the warnings so that you can see everything. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning for Fairfield, Nassau, Suffolk, and Westchester. That'll be until 5 o'clock, winds of 60-mile-an-hour winds. And also, if I go down here, it doesn't include Manhattan. It includes, looks like, parts of the Bronx and into Queens as well. Yeah, 60-mile-per-hour winds and 3/4-inch hail. You can see the severe thunderstorm warning that we have over Dutchess County right now. That'll go until 4:30, and that's impacting places like Dover and Pleasant Valley and Unionvale. And by the way, there's also some rotation still in this storm. There's a hook echo right here. So that storm's still capable of producing a tornado, and I believe that's exactly what it said actually on the actual description. So that's northeast of Poughkeepsie, moving away from Poughkeepsie. Multiple flash flood warnings as well, one over Sullivan County, and there are the storms I talked about over Fairfield County, Nassau, Suffolk, and Westchester, another one off to the south. But these are areas right over I-684, Bedford, down to places like Rybrook and Greenwich. And you can see it's just about to, the worst is about to leave Manhattan, but boy, Yonkers and into Mamaroneck, New Rochelle. This will move over Long Island Sound over to Glen Cove with very heavy rainfall, a little live lightning on the lower east side, but the worst moving away from Manhattan. And then off to the west, you have your showers and still flash flood warnings over Morris County, which has been hit so hard today, and other storms that are headed toward the Delaware Water Gap. We have severe storms west of Philly, so those are tracking eastward. So Ocean County, you need to be vigilant, probably after the 5 or 6 o'clock hour. What I'm showing you here is all of the spinning that was previously happening over northern New Jersey. And I'm just going to go back. I want to change the setting on this. And what thankfully we're not seeing anymore are these significant signatures of rotation over the past 20 minutes or so. But boy, there it is. Look at all those yellows. I mean, all afternoon, we saw multiple areas of rotation and strong signatures of potential tornadoes, places like Livingston and West Caldwell and out to Troy Hills. There you see it right there. All right, so there are the storm reports, the flash flooding from this morning, trees knocked down in the Hudson Valley, and then, of course, the 2 tornado reports that we got over parts of New Jersey. One in Troy Hills, video of a tornado in a driving range. I had some video from a tornado, or looks like a weak tornado over Caldwell, and then another one over Stanhope, New Jersey, with a tornado touching down at the intersection of I-80 and I-206. By the way, the rainfall estimates, you see that area right here? That's right near Hastings-on-Hudson. And amounts that are approaching 8 inches. Doppler radar estimate. That's why we talked about the life-threatening flooding in Bergen County and into parts of lower Westchester. And you can see it estimated right there. So Sawmill, Route 9 flooding as well. All right, as we go through the evening hours, something encouraging. We have to get through those storms I talked about over Philly, going through parts of Monmouth, but more likely Ocean County into the early evening hours. Some leftover storms in the Hudson Valley through 6 o'clock. And then I think there's marked improvement after the 7 o'clock hour. That's when we start to see these storms push offshore and we see the drying coming in. So all this has happened faster, meaning another 3 hours or so, we'll get better conditions coming in. The front still has to come through tomorrow, so there's still the threat of an isolated storm in the afternoon, but it's likely south and east of New York City, and then our humidity is coming down. So for tonight, we still have severe thunderstorms in the early evening hours, maybe a late shower, gusty winds, flooding downpours. I believe the tornadic threat is minimized right now, although that storm over Dutchess does look a little dangerous to me, and there are some storms off to the west that we'll still monitor. 83 degrees tomorrow, clouds and sun. There might be an isolated storm around, but but that's likely leaving, and then tomorrow night we'll be in much better shape as we begin to clear out. Guys, after today, nice to see no AccuWeather alerts, and we have earned an incredible stretch of weather that will start in a little tomorrow, but Thursday into the upcoming weekend will be beautiful. But for right now, tornado watch until 9 o'clock, severe thunderstorm warnings over parts of Connecticut and into New York City and also into Dutchess County. And Jeff and I will continue to track it through the hours.
All right, Lee, we want to show you this picture that we have just received. Take a look at that. We want to bring in Jeff Smith to be part of this conversation. So this picture was apparently taken looking north from Rockefeller Center in Manhattan. What do you see, Lee? Because that looks like a funnel cloud.
That's Central Park in front.
And we verified this? This is...
I know, only because, right, to me, it's first of all, I've never seen anything like this in 30 years here at this station. And to have something that well defined and that strong looking, I would want to make sure that that's not something that's doctored. If that's real, you're talking about, you know,
it's remarkable if it's real
over Manhattan, and I just would want to confirm that.
Yeah, because...
And it's not necessarily some of the locations that we have been focusing on for the last several hours, correct?
Right. The rotation was weakening quite a bit by the time it got into the city.
Right.
I mean, there was a little bit of rotation, don't get me wrong, but it was nothing like it was when it was over central
Well, it's good to question.
Yeah,
so I think we can really
careful
confirm
with that. I would think a picture like that, you would see crazy rotation on the radar, but, you know, I think we should definitely try to verify it.
Okay. Good. Well, that's why you guys are the experts. That's why you're here, and we do appreciate it. You guys have been doing a fabulous job. I want to take us to Woodside, Queens right now. This is the scene where this weekend we saw some really damaging flooding, and now they've been on edge, worried that they're going to have a repeat performance of that. We got Crystal Cranmore in Woodside. And Crystal, what can you tell us of the conditions there right now?
Good afternoon. Yeah, the clouds turned ominous about a minute ago. It really started to pour. Now it's easing up. But I can tell you, the folks in Woodside, they are preparing, and they are tired of preparing. They are tired of being flooded out. They prepared on Saturday, and the damage was just inevitable. Take a look at some of the garbage that's left behind after Saturday's downpour. You can see a refrigerator and some other equipment. Folks will tell you that they are just hoping for not another repeat of this weekend. The community of Woodside, Queens is storm weary.
That's how far the water came up.
And bracing once again for potentially more flooding.
Getting sandbags, and we're going to fill them and put them at every entrance. That's the only thing I could think of.
Michael Hillock, the owner of Marin's Auto Body, lost thousands of dollars worth of items after Saturday's downpour.
The furnace, we've replaced the furnace here like 3 times in 5 years. That's the first thing that goes. We have a compressor downstairs, like a backup one. The water was up to the ceiling in the basement downstairs. That was floating. It's just a huge mess.
He's not the only one still cleaning up. Piles of garbage line 69th Street and surrounding roads.
I lose the boiler, the washing machine, refrigerator.
Wow.
A lot.
It's not just rain, it's sewer water. So we got black sewer water, and you know, it's disgusting. You're not just getting water. It overflows from the toilet. It overflows from here, from the entrance.
Just days ago, drivers found themselves stranded on cars. The fire department had to rescue residents from their homes. As the region prepares for more rain, the Office of Emergency Management says it's taken action.
So we activated the flash flood plan yesterday. That once that is activated, that sets certain triggers for agencies. So they go out, they start clearing catch basins. Larger agencies like the NYPD, FDNY, they decide where they're going to pre-position tow trucks, high axle vehicles, if they have to do any rescues or any other operations on the highway. It triggers a lot of messaging.
For now, community members are hoping for the best, but planning for the worst.
More rain, more like car damages. My things are getting wet again, so we're just trying to lift everything up as soon as possible because we can't do much.
And the Office of Emergency Management just urging folks to plan ahead. If you do not have to drive, don't. Simply take public transportation. We also understand that Councilwoman Julie Wan is holding a flooding town hall along with DEP on August 6th in light of recent flooding events. And folks there can actually collect free flood kits. But for now, we will continue to monitor the weather conditions. That is the very latest here in Woodside. Crystal Fanmore, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, Crystal, Lee did just say that there is some rain moving into the northern Queens area. Meanwhile, we are just receiving this video. This is video from Route 80 in, this is live pictures, I'm being told. Route 80 in Stanhope, where you can see emergency crews and that large tree down as cars try to navigate around here. Now, Lee, this was an area of specific concern because there was a trained spotter who may have seen a funnel cloud?
We actually have a confirmed tornado touchdown in that area in Stanhope, New Jersey, and that was at the intersection of I-80 and Route 206.
Do we have a sense of how powerful a tornado it is?
No, well, I mean, listen, I'm sure it was at least some 70, maybe 80-mile-per-hour winds. We have to survey and look at the amount of damage, and then we can assess what type of level of tornado strength this was.
Right.
But obviously, you know, when we were Jeff and I were watching it, we could see actually debris on some of our radar tools. So it was certainly strong enough to knock down trees or impact structures.
Right,
so this isn't the last bit of damage that we'll see.
Well, you know, it's funny you say it's not just, we talked about the tornado damage or a tornado, but you've been talking about winds up to 60 miles an hour in other parts of the area. I mean, these are strong winds coming through along with the rain and other issues.
When you look at a threshold for wind damage, maybe you're looking 50 miles an hour. And of course, now that, you know, of course, we have all the vegetation and mature trees in our area, very wooded areas across the area. I mean, you start talking 60, and then with the ground saturated, which will knock these trees down even more easily. But now winds certainly topping that in parts of the area. Guys, before I throw it back to you, I'm seeing an area of rotation that's coming over the western end of the sound. It is not far from New Rochelle. And remember I mentioned that there was a cell that was going to go and brush places like Port Washington and Glen Cove.
Yeah.
So this is an area right here. There's some areas of rotation. I just want to go back to my warning map and make sure that we definitely have a severe thunderstorm warning for this area. Let me put on the actual specifics with it. But there's definitely some shear with this and some turning. So that's over Fairfield, Nassau, Suffolk, and Westchester, and that's all the way until 5 o'clock. But the worst is right over the west end of Long Island Sound. You could take it down right from Rye to Mamaroneck to New Rochelle, and then over to Manor Haven, you know, back over to like Willets Point and Astoria. So this was just north of where Crystal was. She missed the worst to the north, but it's running north of Northern Boulevard. So Sea Cliff, Oyster Bay. This is going to ride that north shore towards Eaton's Neck. We already have flash flood warnings there as well. So dangerous cell there.
Lee, it's been pretty remarkable. I mean, usually for our area, we will get a tornado warning, and they're usually pretty isolated. We have seen one right after another, then to be slammed with all these flash flooding warnings afterwards, too.
It's, you know, the graphic, I was talking to Jeff about this earlier, the graphics library that we have created just even over the past 5 years, much different than the way we covered storms in the past. Summer was our off season, if you will. You get a few severe weather events, and now you're getting these events that are at the top end of intensities, not wind gusts that are just 50, but wind gusts that go 70 to 80, rainfall rates that today we're going over 3 inches an hour in some cases. I mean, with that Doppler estimate near Hastings on Hudson, nearly 8 inches of rain a possibility. So the worst case scenarios seem to be verifying way more often, Liz.
And it's also spread out in a weird way. I mean, you've got parts north of the storm, and then south of the storm, and then in the middle, nothing. You know, and then you have a break, and then to east of the storm, you have another system coming together. It's amazing. And all of these parts are very powerful.
Yeah, listen, that's the nature of summertime, what we call convection. You are going to have your have and have-nots. I mean, there are places on the South Shore of Long Island and down this Jersey Shore that are saying, what are you making a big deal about things? Because it's been all about areas north and west. And that's just, that's actually not terribly unusual. That's how the atmosphere behaves, especially in the summer. You have either tremendous lift in some areas, and what goes up must come down. So in some places that are getting tremendous rising air and big storms, other places are getting sinking air and no storms. So that's the nature versus like when you get into the colder season, you've got sort of a widespread area of rainfall. These are storms that affect areas more localized.
Okay, Lee, we're going to talk to
Susan Spear from Westchester County Emergency Management.
Exactly. So in Westchester, the storms right now are where? Lee.
The Westchester storms right now are in the easternmost half of the county, so they're near like a Cross River, Lewisboro, and east of Bedford, and then down toward Rye, and now they're moving into the Sound. So really, they're just about to exit the county over the next 15 minutes or so.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Susan, it's Liz Cho with David Navarro. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Hi. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. How are the conditions there where you are?
Well, we've got a flash flood warning in effect, and we also have a tornado warning in effect. I'm sorry, we have a tornado watch in effect
Yes.
and a flash flood warning. So, you know, there's a lot of road closures. There's, you know, some isolated flooding. And, you know, the usual places in Westchester, if the name of the parkway has a river in it.
Yeah. Susan, we're looking at White Plains right now, just so you know. I don't know if you have access to a TV or not.
Have you had to shut down the parkways because of the flooding?
Several parkways are shut down in isolated spots, like the Bronx River Parkway, the Taconic, and the Sawmill River Parkway have closures, and I-684 has a sinkhole.
Oh, how bad is that sinkhole
what happened
right
there?
now?
So they were doing some construction, and you know, the ground gave way a little bit. So there's 2 lanes are shut down northbound, and 1 lane is shut down southbound up by exit 6.
As far as you know, any injuries from anything, any rescues that you guys have had to do because of the flooding and drivers perhaps getting caught in it?
So not yet, but we do have our swiftwater rescue team here on standby, and the state also sent us 3 other swiftwater rescue teams to be pre-positioned here in case we need them.
Susan, I imagine you're at that point in this that you're triaging where to send your resources. What do you think is right now the area that you have to really pay the most attention to?
Right now, I would say Middle Westchester and the Sound Shore.
And are those the areas where we're seeing some of the flooded streets that we're talking about, and some possibly down trees?
Yes, exactly. Well, there's down trees all over, but yes, I mean, the down trees are more likely to be in the northern part of the county. More trees up there.
Right,
but the flooding is more likely in the mid and southern part of the county.
How are you guys doing with power? Do you have widespread power outages, or does it seem to be sustained right now?
I wouldn't characterize as widespread right now. We have several hundred outages at the moment, but you know, that could change in an instant. But right now, I think we're doing pretty well, though, you know, of course, with so many trees down, we could have more outages later.
All right, Susan Spear, the Westchester County Commissioner of Emergency Services, we really appreciate your time. We will check in with you later on as this storm continues to roll through our area. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for covering.
We're going to take a very quick break, and we'll have much more with Lee and Jeff when we come right back.
We get it.
Your mornings are busy.
And this is a distraction. So stop scrolling and get rolling with breaking news and headlines.
Your mornings are busy.
We got the rest.
Eyewitness News this morning, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
This July at Renewal by Andersen. Replace your windows, your patio doors, or your entry door, and we're going to give you an amazing opportunity. You ready? Pay nothing. And I mean zero zilch nada for 18 months. Just to be clear, that's a year and a half. I'm talking about no deposit, no monthly payments, and no interest until January of 2028. Get your windows and doors now and take advantage of our pay it down the line financing. And did you know over 60% of all our customers choose to finance? It just makes sense. But hold on. Why choose Renewal by Andersen in the first place? Because choosing Renewal by Andersen to replace your windows and doors makes your home worth more. 3 out of 4 real estate agents surveyed agree Andersen products increase a home's value by at least 10%. Do the math. I think you're going to be happy. And when you're ready to sell your home, it's possible that your new windows and doors could help pay for themselves by increasing the value of your home. Replace your windows, patio doors, or your front entry door, and there's no deposit, no monthly payments, and no interest until January of 2028. Get them now and pay down the line. And here at Renewal by Andersen, your local design consultants, measure technicians, certified master installers, and customer service team are all going to give you the best home improvement experience you've ever had. Let us show you colors, styles, and inspiration for your home. Get started by meeting with one of our design consultants by July 31st. Call today to schedule your appointment. Don't wait. 1-800-334-4422. That's 1-800-334-4422.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News First at 4. And we've been following breaking news all afternoon. Violent storms wreaking havoc across the tri-state with a slew of tornado warnings in the Hudson Valley, northern New Jersey. Right now you're looking at Sussex County, Stanhope, where a tornado has been confirmed to have touched down in that area. And there have been multiple reports of tornadoes touching down in northern New Jersey, one of them witnessed by the transporter right here in Morris County.
Yeah, you can see the crews there trying to start the process of cutting down those trees and getting them off the roadway. But you can see traffic is able to slowly bypass the situation there. But these storms have been very fast moving this afternoon. We want to go ahead and check in with Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Johnson. And Anthony, I mean, we saw you just like 15 minutes ago when it was pouring there, and now you got the hood down and it looks like things might be drying out.
Yeah, torrential rain starting around 3:30 this afternoon. By 4 o'clock, it was really starting to pour. And then shortly after I did that last report, the rain just completely came to a stop. The roads are certainly in better shape now, but we do understand there are some reports of some water rescues taking place in this area, particularly over in Hackensack, New Jersey. And we did hear from the county executive talking about the situation out there on Route 17, which floods pretty quickly. Anytime we have these torrential rainstorms that come through the area, those roads do go underwater pretty quickly. Hopefully they've been able to clear those out, but sometimes it takes time for that water to go down. But as you can see right behind me, the roads look like they are in pretty good shape. The traffic has certainly died down because once the rain started coming down, there was a whole lot of traffic out there on the roads. It has been a tough afternoon. Now, we can tell you the skies above look a little bit better, but I could look to the north of where I'm standing right now. I still see gray clouds over there. Some more ominous clouds are in the area, so we do have to be careful. So it's spotty. It's just like Lee and Jeff have been talking about. Some areas they won't see anything. Other areas, it'll look like, you know, you have to pull out Noah's Ark and get ready for the flood because the rain is really coming down. And at one point in time, it seemed like we were going to get about at least 2 to 3 inches per hour. That's just how hard it was raining here in Englewood, New Jersey at the time. But luckily, things have calmed down. Back to you guys.
Anthony, speaking of Noah, you look like Noah. We have some video of it right there. You can't see it on the monitor, but we're showing it right next to it. The drier version of you, always preferred, but it gives us, in a sense, on the picture that we're looking at live right now of how heavy that rain was coming down.
And it was really just about 20 minutes ago that was happening.
Something.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see the cars were all holding up the traffic and the water on the streets.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it has been. I mean, this morning, it rained in the area. It came down. We actually rushed over to a church in Glen Rock. There was a report that maybe lightning had struck the steeple of the church. We got over there, and the pastor told us, no, that was not confirmed. But he said the thunder actually was so powerful, so strong, that it rocked the church and set off the alarms inside of the church. So that's how powerful these storms are, and they might be rolling through the rest of the afternoon, you know, so we have to be careful no matter where you are. The situation can get bad, and it can get bad quickly.
Yeah, and there is some real concern for flash flooding, especially where you are. All right, Anthony Johnson in Englewood, we appreciate it. Thank you. We want to go ahead and check back in with Lee. And Lee, I guess we should start off by saying that we should apologize because we did put a picture on the air, and thankfully you and Jeff realized that it was an unverified photo of what appeared to be a tornado.
Listen, unfortunately, that's the world we're in with social media right now, and it's easily to be deceived because certainly a storm with rotation did get close to the 5 boroughs of New York City, but that rotation and structure was much stronger over parts of northern New Jersey when it got close to New York City. Would I have been surprised if a weak spin-up happened over the city, I would have not been surprised. But a large rope tornado, which was depicted in some of these pictures that may be going around social media, not the case. We are looking at Lake Success, Long Island right now. To the north, you can see the dark clouds, almost a shelf cloud in the distance, because there's very heavy storms that are working across the North Shore. Tornado watches until 9 o'clock, although there are not as many cells that are suspicious in terms of their spinning right now. But I will show you that some that have some rotation. You see some of the heavier lines from Providence down to the Cape and Islands. I mean, that's what we went through, and now you can see the storms that are over parts of the Connecticut coast and over the North Shore of Long Island. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning until 5 o'clock. That continues for Fairfield, Nassau, and Suffolk. Westchester's in it, but the worst has moved out of Westchester now. I'm more concerned of what's moving through Oyster Bay and headed to Huntington right now with some rotation. There are more storms off to the south and west, for instance, moving through Somerset County, and you also have some decent weather working through parts of northern Dutchess County. There are flash flood warnings all across the area, and we still have more rounds that we're working through. There it is over Oyster Bay and headed toward Eaton's Neck and Moriches. Now, one thing I will say is there is some rotation that's over the Sound right now and off the North Shore, so it's not out of the question. There could even be a water spout over Long Island Sound, and potentially look at how that rotation just popped right over to Eaton's Neck. So North Shore, you have to be aware that storm is capable of producing a tornado. There's still some rotation off to the west. You can see that over northern New Jersey. This is the last few hours, and I did illustrate that area of green, if you look closely, it did go through upper Manhattan and parts of the Bronx, but again, it didn't look like it was a terribly strong area of rotation. But you can see also the flash flood warnings. Look at how there's more heavy rain again in Stamford. We've already had about a half foot of rain in parts of Connecticut, and unfortunately more heavy rain aggravating the flooding situation. More flash flood warnings across Dutchess and Ulster County, and again across Sullivan County, where we had multiple tornado warnings this afternoon. Manhattan's quiet for the time being. There are some light showers off to the west. You see how it quieted down where Anthony was. There's some downpours not too far from Somerville, and another storm that looks a little feisty over Pike working into the Delaware Water Gap. These are the strongest storms right now west of Philly. So let's say southern New Jersey into Ocean County by, let's say, 5:30 or 6. Some of these storms can work into the area. You can see the widespread storm reports. Meteorologist Jeff Smith, if he's available in the Weather Center, I know he's been keeping an eye on some of the new reports coming out. Jeff?
Yeah, it's actually amazingly, our models last night were really targeting areas north and west of the city to get a tremendous amount of rain. That's exactly where it happened. Storms trained over the same areas all afternoon, even started earlier this morning in some cases. And these are the reports that we're getting from our automated rain gauges like Caldwell 1.52 inches, White Plains 2.05. But if you go in between those major reporting stations, radar estimates are upwards of 8 inches of rain over southern parts of Westchester County. And there's no big surprise we're getting a tremendous number of flooding reports there. How about Valhalla? Road closure on the Taconic State Parkway. All lanes closed there. Mile marker 1.6. How about a road closure on New York 100? We've had issues on that route earlier as well. All lanes of 2 lanes closed, and also in Elmsford, 2 different routes here, the Sawmill River Parkway and the Bronx River Parkway. Both directions shut down there due to flooding. Ossining area, DOT reporting flooding and a road closure on a pretty big thoroughfare there too, Route 9A, both directions at Ryder Road in the Ossining area. In terms of the rainfall, I think we really shut things off, and this is what the models have been showing. After about 7 o'clock, everything's really moving offshore. But until then, we have that level 2 out of 4 risk of flooding across our entire region. Any storm that develops in this moist of an air mass can produce rainfall rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour. In the severe risk, while it seems to be decreasing a little bit in the areas that got hit so hard from the city and points north, still got to watch, like Lee was saying, over central and southern parts of New Jersey through early this evening. Lee?
Thank you, Jeff. And to follow up on your storm reports, if you are just joining us, we actually have reports of tornadoes that touch the ground over parts of New Jersey. We have Stanhope and we have Troy Hills as well. It's on my weather computer here. It happened just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Stanhope at the intersection of I-80 and U.S. Route 206. And then later, it might have been the same supercell working over Troy Hills at 243, a tornado on the ground from a driving range in Parsippany. So 2 confirmed tornadoes. Overall strength will be determined by National Weather Survey teams. As Jeff was saying about getting through the next 2 to 3 hours, that's critical. Notice the storms over southernmost New Jersey, so those cells could still be strong over southern Monmouth and especially into Ocean County during the 6 o'clock hour. There can still be some isolated strong cells to the north as well, and then things start to move offshore. We'll still have to be careful with Long Island through the 7 o'clock hour, but I think by 8 or 9, these are all moving offshore and we're really quieting down. Waters will recede, but we do have a cleanup process ahead. Wednesday will be quieter. there can be a storm in the afternoon hours. So tonight, humid with severe thunderstorms in the evening and just a shower late, but still the threat of gusty winds and flash flooding, maybe even an isolated tornado still in the forecast the next few hours. Dave and Liz, I'll be back with a 7-day AccuWeather forecast. We'll continue to track these storms through the evening.
Okay, and as you said, Lee, we're trying to get through the brunt of these storms, and then we haven't even begun the assessment of all the damage.
We have team coverage. We have reporters trying to get to every affected area in the tri-state area right now. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Tomorrow.
It'll move fast. What are we doing? We're good. What are we doing?
Pushing a 500-pound piano through New York.
In the middle of the street? Yes.
What on earth? But Eyewitness News' Joel Gargiulo has the key.
It's like an adventure.
A man with a mission of music. Tomorrow starting at 4.
Listen to the heartbeat. The Chevy Equinox doesn't miss a beat. With dependability for the miles ahead.
Hey Google, text the block party crew, we're almost there.
And tech to make them smoother. Making every arrival that much bigger.
Get 0% APR on 2026 Equinox models. Or current eligible lessees can lease this Equinox LT for around $269 per month. See your local Chevy dealer.
If I have a vision, I can make it happen. All these clothes behind me was going to the landfill. I had this idea of a machine to bring clothes back to the raw material and make new thread. Everyone told me this was going to be impossible. But Chase believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning. And now this thread can become anything. When a bank like Chase believes in you, it makes you believe even more in yourself.
Eyewitness News needs your help to protect our children. Have you seen Robert? WABC-7 and Celino Law thank you for helping to protect our children.
All right, welcome back. We have been following all of the wild and dangerous weather all afternoon, from the tornado warnings and tornado watches that remain still in effect, including the flash flood warnings and some severe thunderstorm warnings.
Two confirmed tornadoes at least.
And 2 confirmed tornadoes right now in New Jersey. Joining us right now on the phone is Essex County Sheriff Amir Jones. Sheriff, can you hear us? It's Liz Cho and David Navarro.
I can hear you. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Tell us about the conditions there.
We're pretty good over here now. It rained pretty heavy earlier. It's stopped right now, but again, we're still monitoring, in communication with our National Weather Service and our partners, utility partners, first responders, our municipal OEM coordinators.
For our audience, just so they know, Essex County has some major cities. The #1 city, Newark, of course, biggest city in the state. What are you hearing from reports you're getting from Newark in particular?
I'm actually in Newark right now. It's pretty dry. Again, like I said, it rained earlier, pretty heavy, but it's stopped right now. But we're preparing for another, about 2 to 4 inches of rain.
Right. Were you folks called out at all for any rescues, any situations there in terms of down trees, down power lines, flooding, or anything like that?
No, not at the moment.
Where are you guys focused right now in terms of concerns? Are you pre-positioning anyone in a particular area?
Yeah, the western part of the county is where we get some flooding, Fairfield, Roseland, towns like that. But we're preparing, like I said, for some heavy rain, flash flooding, in case the winds pick up, damaging winds, and power outages, of course.
What are you hearing on the power outages? Is it impacting a response at all, or what are the communities saying in regard to their their use of power and their needs for right now?
Well, we haven't had any reported power outages yet, but just in case we do, we encourage residents to charge their phones and essential devices, and just in case the winds pick up, secure any outdoor furniture, things like that, anything that can become airborne.
Well, I think, you know, it's interesting talking to you because we've heard so much about other damage in so many other areas. This is a perfect example of the kind of storm this is, where you could be in one area and it be mildly impacted by it. And then you could be in another one, as we were looking at Parsippany and Stanhope, and where the tornadoes have touched down, and obviously they have a little bit bigger issues to deal with. Let me ask you this. The storm is continuing to pass through. What's the next step for you?
Again, just monitoring, keeping in touch with the National Weather Service, keeping in touch with our municipalities, our local, you know, OEM coordinators, our utilities partners, to make sure everybody's on board, and just in case, you know, things do pick up around here.
All right, we do appreciate it. Essex County Sheriff Amir Jones, appreciate that. If anything comes up that we need to alert the public, please reach out to us, and we'll stay in touch with you as well.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Millionaire is back with famous friends playing for charity.
Are you going to be mad if I'm wrong?
No.
The charity's mine.
And someone is bound to become a meme.
Don't take my word for it.
The Emmy-winning Who Wants to Be a Millionaire premieres Wednesday on ABC.
You know what makes a good New York morning?
Sharing it together with you.
From the breaking news shaping your day
to the top headlines across the country and around the world.
Your AccuWeather and commuter alerts. Everything you need
to start your day is right here.
Eyewitness News this morning in GMA.
When you own a business, you own every decision.
Have a passion. Make it a business. Now to scale it worldwide. A carry-on for a closet. A window seat for an office. Traveling across time zones. All jet, zero lag. The business card that gives back all you put in. Chase Sapphire Reserve for business.
This summer, great sleep begins with Raymore and Flanigan's Summer Sleep Deals. Upgrade your comfort and get a free $300 gift card with a select mattress purchase. Plus, Sealy Queen mattresses start at $299. And get select Beauty Rest King mattresses for the price of a queen. Or enjoy no-interest financing so you can buy now and pay over time. And get free next-day mattress delivery on purchases of $500 or more. Your best sleep is waiting only at Raymore and Flanigan.
Dear Friday, let's put good times in gear. We've got power tailgates to power game days and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the ramp. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota Trucks. Lease a rugged Tacoma with 0 down and first month's payment of $399 due at signing. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Every day we work to build a cleaner, stronger grid and a stronger community with one goal in mind. Leave it better than you found it. Because this is our island.
Cut! When you own a business, you own every decision.
New Bureau products in the pipeline. Meetings on the move. A launch from the lounge.
Social campaign goes live in 3, 2, 1.
It's a business card that gives back all you put in. Chase Sapphire Reserve for business.
All right, we're going to go ahead and check in with Lee Goldberg again, who's been tracking all of this severe weather this afternoon. And Lee, you were saying right now the north shore of the island is what's getting walloped.
Yes, over parts of the north shore of Nassau into Suffolk right now. Really bad storm headed toward Eaton's Neck at this point. That storm still has some rotation. It's warned for winds to 60 miles an hour. And you can see the dark skies. This is Lake Success. You see the dark skies off to the north right now. So that's where we're dealing with some of the worst conditions. We're kind of a steam bath in New York City at 74. Very humid tropical air in place. Any additional storms can continue to bring some heavy downpours. This severe risk is likely to last till about 7, 8 o'clock latest on the east end, so everything's passing a little faster, and then we'll have massive improvement. I mean, there might be an isolated storm tomorrow, but a super stretch will follow. We're covering Bertha in the Gulf. We haven't talked about that yet today. It's not a major storm, but surge wind and rain along the Gulf Coast. For us, a tornado watch until 9 o'clock tonight, although I think for the most part, the tornado threat has passed. I'm still watching a couple of suspicious storms off to the north that I'll get to in a moment, but we have had 2 confirmed tornadoes. I'll get out of the way. One in Stanhope and one in Troy Hills. One by a spotter, one caught on video. I also got some video of a spin up near Caldwell, New Jersey. So right now, we have heavy storms over Dutchess County. There are flash flood warnings over Sullivan and Ulster and Dutchess. There are also flash flood warnings that are almost right on I-95 from Connecticut into New York City and also along I-80 in New Jersey. You have severe thunderstorm warnings right now that are across parts of Connecticut and over to Long Island. Looks like there was a new one that I'll go and check out in a second. But this one is over Fairfield and Nassau. It's for Huntington and North Hempstead and Oyster Bay, and some wind gusts that could go up to 60 miles an hour. Before I go to my next graphic, let me make sure that I get you the latest information on the newest warning that may have just come out off to the south. So there it is, severe thunderstorm warning, and we talked about this. Now, the areas that have been spared for most of the day, that got into the 80s, still have a lot of that instability, and that's coming out of southern Somerset County and headed into Middlesex County. So if you're in Old Bridge, this could be moving toward you. Edison, Middletown, and over to Woodbridge, all on the line of this, 60-mile-per-hour gusts with this severe thunderstorm warning that's for Mercer, Middlesex, Monmouth, and Somerset till 5:45. Back to the storm that's riding the north shore of the island. There is some signs of rotation working into northwestern Suffolk County. So Eaton's Neck over to Smithtown, Melville along the LIE, over to about East Setauket. And you can see there's still that rotation hanging on over Long Island Sound. Wouldn't be shocked if I get a report that there's a water spout over the Sound. And then the new couplet here, some rotation, but just some strong winds and heavy downpours that are working from parts of central New Jersey and may start to reach toward parts of Staten Island as well. This latest area right here, you can see the multiple severe warnings that are going to be impacting central and southern New Jersey over the next couple of hours. There are multiple tornado-warned storms back through Virginia, but if you notice, this is all headed down toward the D.C. area. So we have to get on the other side of this line. So maybe it's about, I'd say 80, 90 miles away, probably moving at roughly 25, 30 miles an hour. That gives us about 3 hours or so for that to get east of us. So figure 8 o'clock, that should be working off the east end of Long Island. So still have a few more hours of this threat. We had the flash flooding from this morning over Connecticut. Those same areas are getting heavy rain right now. Areas that are estimated to get over a half-foot of rainfall. And some of the highest operator estimates near Hastings on Hudson of nearly 8 inches of rainfall. The lion's share of that has all been off to the north. So if you watch, we've got the scattered storms here. This is the next few hours here. A lot of the activity, although we can still see a couple of cells to the north, we'll be looking over central and southern New Jersey in the 6 and 7 o'clock hour. A few of the cells could still be over Connecticut and Long Island, 7 to 8 o'clock, and then finally offshore after that, and things quiet down quite a bit after that. So for tonight, we've got the severe thunderstorm threat for the next few hours, and then just a shower late. Tomorrow will be better. We still have a cold front working through, so it'll feel a little humid to you in the morning. Humidity will start to drop off. There could still be an isolated storm in the afternoon, and then things finally calm down, partly cloudy and lowering humidity, and a calm stretch of weather. But there will be cleanup across the area. There will be National Weather Service surveys done across the area to see the extent of the tornadoes. Now, again, severe thunderstorm warnings for now over parts of the north shore of the island and Connecticut as well, and the new one coming out of central New Jersey that'll be impacting places like Middlesex, Monmouth, and Ocean County over the next couple of hours. Guys, back to you for now.
For you. How quickly will the National Weather Service get crews on the boots on the ground to survey the damage?
Oh, probably tomorrow. You know, they want to see a fresh scene. I mean, at the same time, they will also take a combination of pictures and observations. If there was a trained spotter in the area, they can also make the determination just through that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Earlier, we spoke to the Bergen County executive who told us parts of Route 17 had been closed. We're going to go right now to Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles. She's live in Road Camp 7 on 17. Darla, what are you hearing so far?
Hi, David. We are on Route 17 North, right by Hackensack. We're going right through Hackensack near the Maywood border. And what we are really seeing is just the residual effect of all of that torrential rain we saw between 3:30 and 4:30. We saw Anthony Johnson standing outside in it. We saw those pictures of all of that rain coming down. And as we all know, as we've been talking about this afternoon, you just get lots of ponding and the roads fill up very, very quickly here on Route 17. So what you see in front of you right now, you see like a flatbed truck and lots of traffic where it's just really snarled right here. Just before that, David, we were maybe about 10 minutes ago, we were on Route 17 southbound in Hasbrook Heights where we saw a single car accident. One car just spun out because you could lose control very, very quickly on these really, really slick roads. And when you have a lot of rain coming down so quickly. Right now, we're getting ready to go. We're crossing Essex Street, which again is crossing from the Hackensack border into Maywood. And we're looking at the traffic. You can't see it, but if we just look at our GPS, you can just see a thick red line of traffic going northbound into Paramus, the residual effect of all of those, that heavy rain coming down. The good thing that we've seen is that some of that water has already washed away. But right now, the roads are clear and passable, but we have little knots on 17 North where it's still impassable from some of that heavy flooding that we've seen over the last hour. David, Liz?
All right. Well, there was some encouraging scenes there, Darla, because we did hear reports earlier that there were several parts of Route 17 that had been closed because of the flash flooding. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for that live report from Road Cam 7. And as we have been doing all afternoon, we have been tracking this wild weather to confirm tornadoes in New Jersey. We have had flash flood warnings that are still up and a tornado watch that remains in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. We're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, Eyewitness News at 5 begins.
Most homeowners have it somewhere in their house.